Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto learns Sage Mode early part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments. For part 2, do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Hello Bachan. I bet you're pretty surprised to get a letter from me, any? It's actually the first one I've sent, so I guess it's unfortunate given the circumstances, but unfortunate. Circumstances would be the name of my biography no one would write nor read. I hope Gamakichi returned your necklace. I wanted you to have it back so you understand that the necklace didn't curse me. I didn't fall to a jinx. This is simply where this has been headed. A part of me wishes I could chalk it up to fate, but given I've had a lot of time to think, it's pretty clear that this has been just a series of choices by myself and others, and no matter what, I want you to know I'm at peace. But enough of the build-up. I guess I should start with what led me to this. I was so excited to go on the training trip with Jiraiya. A Sannin wanted to personally train me, the student and teacher of a Hokage respectively. How could I not be psyched? I get to travel and become strong enough to save Sasuke and eventually become Hokage. I know I can come off poorly, but I really wanted this to work, so I made a promise to myself. I wouldn't complain if something was boring. I'd follow Jiraiya's instructions, learn what he has to teach to the best of my abilities, and even do some independent study when I had downtime. I was going to be focused and committed, not as loud nor excitable. Kakashi never taught me anything when I outright asked, so I go at Jiraiya's pace. I was sad to leave home but knew it was going to be worth it. 6 months later, and I've learned practically nothing. We do a light spar about twice a week. He doesn't instruct me on anything new regarding taijutsu. We just spar and he remains unimpressed. I even accompanied him on his peeking, which I hated because he claims it's good infiltration training. I really wish he didn't do that. I know he thinks it's harmless, but I guess he's never felt unsafe in places where you are supposed to be safe even when vulnerable. If he had, he'd likely know that his peeking isn't some hobby but predatory. He wanted to focus on my Bijou chakra, and as much as I didn't want to, I tried. Up until he loosened the seal and got injured. Did you know channeling the Kyuubi's chakra hurts? It burns and the pressure feels like my muscles are getting squished. It probably doesn't help that I'm afraid of it, of losing control or being swallowed whole by the small fraction of the power I feel. But since then, he's done little to nothing. 2 months of being ignored. He won't even give me a jutsu scroll. I just get told to practice the Rasengan and chakra control, but I'm not giving new exercises. I got so bored one day I decided to try to separate pepper from salt. It was really hard, but I was starting to get the hang of it. Guess that was something of a wasted effort now. All that downtime has allowed me to think cute jokes about my being too stupid to do such a thing because everyone knows Naruto is an idiot. It's practically my last name, and I've come to realize that my life is something of a sad joke. They called me lazy at the academy. Irika used to yell at me for sleeping, but never Shikamaru. They never considered a 7-year-old might be up late because he's scared and alone in his apartment, not falling asleep until he just can't stay awake but jumping at every unknown sound, wondering if the door shakes due to the wind or someone trying to break in. They said I was undisciplined but never mentioned how I had to fight every day just to have my existence acknowledged because the villagers all decided I was to be invisible, until I made them look at me. Then I was scorned. I yelled because the silence was deafening, but it didn't matter. Neither of my senseis seemed to care for me much. Kakashi barely trained me, and during our genin exam he set out to humiliate me just days after a chunin instructor tried to murder me. He left me during the chunin exam finals, had no clue about my skill set, and yet he sent me after Sasuke to fight an unstable Jinchuriki. I still sometimes wonder if he sent me to my death. I thought Jiraiya would be different. I needed him to be. Yes, he has given me summoning and the Rasengan, but with both, his aid has been minimal. He never told me I was molding the chakra improperly while attempting the technique, therefore wasting most of it. Gamakichi did, and I haven't had a problem summoning since. But his goal was to exhaust me, so I'd tap into the fox's chakra. Throwing me off a cliff was just an added bonus, I guess. And now on this training trip, I failed to improve with the Bijou chakra, so he's written me off. I seem to be the only person that believes I can become a great ninja, or believed, I guess. But it doesn't matter anymore. It does hurt though, thinking about returning to the village only marginally improved from when I left. I could just see my cohorts, questioning how idiot Naruto managed to not get better with private instruction from a Sannin, the one that taught the fourth. I would just be a liability for them while confirming every negative thing they thought about me. They'll all get promoted, but I'll be stuck a genin, even after beating a prodigy, defeating a Jinchuriki and protecting a Kage. None of my classmates have a resume like mine, but they'll advance, and I'll be a joke. Naruto the failure fails again, but this time, he's going to get his friends killed too. I can't do that. I can't get them killed. I also can't keep wasting my time, my life, hoping someone will want to help me, not just admonish me, not just tell me I'm doing something wrong but help. My whole life I've felt like there was this canyon between how I am and how I should be, but I never knew how to bridge it. I don't know what Kakashi wanted. I don't know what Jiraiya wants, but if my impending death can't make them take me seriously, then nothing will. It isn't all bad. Maybe I'll finally meet some family. I've been thinking about them a lot lately. I wonder if they'd see me how everyone else tends to, if they'd be disappointed in me or think me weak for giving up. I hope not. I hope they'd understand. Or at least come to. I wouldn't want to be alone in the afterlife. I don't want to be alone anymore. So, that leads me to why I returned the necklace. It didn't curse me. The day the Yondaime sealed the fox in me, and the day the third told everyone did that. If I'm dead anyway, the long-lasting mistake, then I should at least decide when I go. I can't let the Akatsuki get me. I know that much, so this is my best option. It's actually really nice out, so I could have picked a worse day. Please, Bachan, don't stop believing. I know Konohamaru wants the hat, and he actually has people that want him to succeed. The necklace didn't do this. I was just always a sucker bet. Love, N. Uzumaki. As Tsunade finished reading the letter, she looked at the two men occupying her office with a teary-eyed glare. No one is to know of this. Everything regarding Naruto's suicide will remain an S-class secret. If you reveal it, I will have you executed. If you give out signals and put someone on the trail, I'll have you and that person executed. You both disgust me. Leave my presence and don't say a word, she said with no inflection. Kakashi heeded his Hokage's words and left via Shunshin. Jiraiya did not. Tsuhi started before being interrupted. What part of leave and don't say a word did you not understand, you miserable son of a bitch? Leave, Jiraiya. Go chase your whores. Go peek on women, something even your isolated, orphan student knew was scummy. Whatever shred of respect I had for you is gone, exhausted because you couldn't be bothered to do the very thing you said you wanted to do. Her words would have hurt Jiraiya greatly and in the future still might, but hearing the final words of his godson has left him numb. He can't feel the hurt presently. Tsunade, please just hear me out. No, I will not hear you out. I don't want to hear your excuses, your justifications. Do you understand the level of shame and self-loathing he must have been feeling? He was convinced he was going to get people killed because he was too weak to do otherwise. He didn't even call them his friends, just comrades and classmates. He had checked out, and you didn't do a fucking thing. Get out. Fucking get out. Jiraiya knew he should do as asked, ordered, but he had an overwhelming need to be heard, to be understood, and it needed to be from his oldest friend and teammate. Jiraiya was beside himself that he didn't see the signs because he was too wrapped up in himself. When Naruto went 4 tails and nearly killed him, Jiraiya was equal parts afraid and rueful. The majority of the training trip was going to be to control the Bijuu Chakra, and while he told Tsunade it was on the list, he never stated it'd be a primary focus. But with Naruto seemingly hitting his limit at 3 tails, for causing him to go berserk, Jiraiya didn't know how to proceed with his training. He had been disappointed Naruto couldn't handle more as he had heard about Kumo's 2 Jinchuriki, and their unprecedented control, so he didn't understand why Naruto couldn't do it. What he was lacking, but Jiraiya had no intention of getting killed to find out. So he started to put some distance between Naruto and himself, going to his preferred distractions. He thought the kid wanted the space too, as he never spoke up nor complained about Jiraiya leaving him, only once requesting a jutsu scroll. Jiraiya could have written something out and honestly didn't know why he reflexively said no. Maybe it was a lack of trust. He no longer trusted his apprentice, and maybe he resented Naruto. Minato, in his mind, died to give Naruto a tremendous gift, but Naruto just wouldn't apply himself. He wanted something easier like jutsu instead of harnessing the great power within. But how to explain it to Tsunade, make her understand that he didn't just abandon Naruto, but he needed the boy to do better. Tsunade, please. I just wanted Naruto to harness the fox's power. He just wasn't trying hard enough. If Kumo figured it out, then Naruto should have. He should have fought through the pain and utilized Minato's gift. The look Tsunade shot him let him know he had made a mistake, for where once was a fast-burning anger turned to a cold fury. He wasn't going to enjoy what happened next, and he knew it. Jiraiya, she said so calmly, so plainly, did you ever talk to the Elder Toads about how you were going to train Naruto? She asked. No, why? See, the few days I had to wait for you to get here, Fukasaku-sama, and I had a chance to speak. I asked him why he thought the fox's chakra caused Naruto pain. He said that the Bijuu aren't mindless beasts, nor are they chakra batteries. Because they are sentient chakra, they can choose if their chakra is harmful or peaceful. He hypothesized that simply forcing more chakra from the fox would have never worked because Naruto didn't have the Kyuubi's cooperation. It wasn't about control, they had to become symbiotic. That understanding shit you're always preaching? Yeah, Naruto needed to do that, but did you guide him to that conclusion? No, I'm sure you just told him to keep pulling on a power source you didn't understand. And now you stand before me, blaming the boy you failed like some coward. He's not here because you weren't enough. He didn't get further with controlling his Bijuu because you had no idea how to train him to do so. But you made your shortcomings his fault, and he picked up on it loud and clear. Her words added even more damage to Jiraiya's battered soul. He had just assumed the Bijuu chakra was just a mass of power the Jinchuriki could use if they had the will to do so. He never considered the possibility that the Bijuu's unwillingness affected the Jinchuriki. He had always assumed the seals subjugated the Bijuu, so they had no choice but to give up their chakra. Tsunade was right. Now I won't tell you again. Leave, Jiraiya. Just get out of my sight. Without a word, Jiraiya walked out of her office, in a haze. Back in Tsunade's office, Shizen finally spoke up now that Naruto's 2 sensei were dealt with. Tsunade-sama, considering everything, don't you think that was harsh? No, not at all. They needed to get a sample of how Naruto felt. They'll get no comforting words or reassurance from me. Their arrogance and indifference brought this on. But enough about them, clear my schedule for the day would you? Hi Tsunade-sama, Shizen said before exiting her office. With a wave of her hand, her 4 ANBU guards appear before her. A series of hand seals activate the privacy barrier. As you heard, all information regarding Naruto Uzumaki's demise is secret. If someone, say an elderly cripple, should ever come to my office hinting at information he shouldn't have about this or any other situation, kill him immediately. Do you understand? Hi, the 4 said in unison. Jiraiya had arrived at one of his many residences within the village. He never liked to be easily accessible, even when in the village, and now he was really thankful he'd be hard to track down. As soon as he closed the door, he summoned Fukasaku. Jiraiya, the elder sage, greeted. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me what happened? That Naruto had killed himself, and that you blamed me? That it was the reason you took the contract scroll from me? I didn't tell you because Tsunade wanted to. She wanted you and that Kakashi boy to be informed of your student's last words. His pain, his shame, and his misery. When I read the letter, I agreed. I have seen you do a lot of foolish things, Jiraiya, but I have never truly been disappointed in you until I read Naruto's note. The words of a broken boy that just wanted his sensei, his godfather, to care. Had I known you wouldn't seriously train Naruto, I would have done it myself, but I thought your sense of honor and responsibility ran deeper than that. What do you want me to say? I fucked up. I know I fucked up. I can't fix it, I can't make it right. I didn't know that's how he felt. How could I do anything if I didn't know? You will cease your shameful display this instant. You didn't know? How could you have known? You weren't there. You didn't meet the boy until he was 12. You talk about how it's no fun to train geniuses, and yet how soon after you discovered Naruto-chan wasn't another Minato did you give up on him? I didn't give up on him. Now isn't the time for lies, not to each other and not to ourselves. You gave up. You've been playing the part of the foolish pervert that you can manage to do little else, but I will not admonish you further. Understand your role in the boy's fate and grow from it. If you're strong, you'll improve and become better. I believe you can do that, but don't you ever forget your growth was paid for by the blood of someone else. Wait, where is his body? Gamakichi felt something was wrong, so after he delivered the letter to Tsunade, he went back to Naruto, to find him bleeding out with a kunai through his heart. The poor boy reverse summoned Naruto to us, but it was already too late. As is our custom, we buried him immediately. Can I visit the site? Pay my final respects? No. We were quite clear about this, Jiraiya. For the foreseeable future you will not be welcomed in our home. Just be glad you didn't lose the contract entirely. Now I'll be off. Fukasaku said before returning to MT Mayaboku. Dear brat, Naruto, I had no idea you were feeling this way and seemingly had been for some time. I know it may not feel natural, but you shouldn't try to deal with things like that by yourself. However, I also understand you didn't feel like you had someone you could come to. That changes now. Whether it be me, Shizen, or the Toads, you don't have to carry the burdens of the world by yourself, so if you're ever feeling overwhelmed, talk to someone. Write me a letter, do anything but harm yourself. I'll let you in on a secret. Hardly anyone knows how to get from who they are to who they want to be. The process was never meant to be taken alone. We're all just faking it until we reach a level of comfort. I still don't always feel like the Hokage, and I'm slightly older than you, so if you don't have it all figured out at 13, I believe you can be forgiven. Luckily you are in a position to truly grow, not just as a shinobi but into the kind of man you want to be. I'll be sending training materials to aid in both pursuits. Use this time to grow stronger and reflect on things. Despite his failings, the Toads helped Jiraiya become a powerful shinobi, and I don't doubt for a moment you'll surpass him given enough time. You may feel you're at your lowest and the climb up won't be easy, but I don't doubt for a moment you can get to where you want to be. I believe in you, Naruto, so don't lose faith in yourself. I'm sending back the necklace. I gave it to you and I intend on you keeping it, but I'll make you a deal. You can give it back to me the day you save me from all this paperwork. Love, Tsunade. There are 3 elements to combat. Fukasaku starts. Yes, there are multiple ways to express this. Taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, fuinjutsu and the like, but each of those disciplines are comprised of 3 basic elements. Mastering yourself, mastering your environment, mastering your opponent. For any and everything you learn here, you should always be considering how it relates to those 3 elements. Do you understand, tadpole? Hi, sensei, replies Naruto. Good. Today's exercise is going to be centered on mastering the self. It will not be easy, tadpole. When one gains self-awareness, they have a tendency to lie to themselves, to see things how they want to see them. Too much of this causes self-delusion. It dulls the mind and senses of a shinobi. You must try to see things as clearly as possible, which requires the strength to not lie to yourself. With that being said, tell me about your time with your team and be specific. Fukasaku waited patiently as Naruto described his time on Team 7, the missions, the trials, successes, and failures. Once Naruto finished, Fukasaku spoke. When you made that promise to Sakura, you were leaving for a time-sensitive mission, yes? Hi. And you were surrounded by others when she asked, yes? Hi. Then you are relieved from that promise. No apprentice of mine will be beholden to a coerced oath of loyalty. But I have to save Sasuke. He's my friend and I don't go back on my word. It's my nindo. Naruto exclaims, only to be hit with Fukasaku's staff in response. That was an example of you not hearing what I said, only what you thought I said. I made no mention of not saving Sasuke, only of the promise made. Seeing his student understands, Fukasaku continues, as for keeping your word, that is virtuous Naruto, but virtue in excess becomes vice. While your teammate did not intend to do so, she coerced you to promise her something you should not have. Your mission was to bring this Sasuke back dead or alive. I wouldn't kill Sasuke. Naruto exclaims, to be hit in the head once again. Once again, you're seeing things how you'd like to see them, not how they truly are. You are a shinobi, you follow the orders of your Hokage. If you disregard orders because you think you know better, why can't everyone? Also, by putting Sasuke above the village you have made yourself responsible for everyone he hurts because you could have stopped him but didn't. Do you want that? No, but he was being influenced by that cursed seal. From my understanding, he isn't the only one that has been marked with that seal. And like him, she wants revenge too, and yet she remained loyal. What prevented Sasuke from doing the same? That genjutsu from Itachi didn't help matters. Why would that matter? I don't understand what you mean. Sasuke wasn't rushing off to face Itachi, he went somewhere for training. So, he has enough forethought to know he can't defeat Itachi and yet not enough to be held responsible for his actions. You realize that doesn't make sense, yes? Seeing Naruto nod, Fukasaku readies himself for the most difficult part of the exercise. Naruto, why do you consider Sasuke a friend? Because he knows the feeling of loneliness. Because he acknowledged me. Did he? Of course he did. At the Chunin exams he said he wanted to fight me. He recognized me as his equal. Jiraiya told me the boy would be jealous when you outdid him. That your rooftop fight is an attempt to put you in your place. Tell me, do you think Sasuke wanted to be stronger than you or you weaker than him? I don't understand the difference. If Sasuke wants to be stronger than you then he wouldn't begrudge you your strengths, he would just train harder to surpass you. If Sasuke wants you to be weaker than him, then he'd do what he had done the last few months before his defection. If he were really your friend, why would he resent your progress? He felt he wasn't getting strong enough, fast enough. Yes, because you were becoming his equal, possibly better than him. He didn't attack that Nara boy when he made Chunin over him, did he? How do you know that? I've done my research, tadpole. It does me no good to come into this blind. If you had more information than I did, you could use that to continue lying to yourself. Let that be a lesson. It is often the person with the most information that can craft the stronger argument, even if it is wrong. Now answer my question, did he attack the Nara boy? No. Kakashi taught him his Chidori, yes? Yes, Naruto replied while subconsciously rubbing his chest. So a fresh genin with an A-rank jutsu wasn't growing fast enough? Surely you see the absurdity in that sentiment, yes? I do. Who was stopping Sasuke from eventually getting his revenge? Kakashi didn't want him to fixate on it, but I don't think anyone told him he could never have it. But you told me you believed Orochimaru was just using Sasuke to steal his body. So, the only person that would actively stop him from seeking his revenge is the person he ran off to? Yes. So what conclusion can you draw from this? Just from the facts as laid out? Naruto took several moments to think about all Fukasaku-sensei had said. He was at war with himself, an old voice begging to frame the information in the ways he had always thought about things. But he couldn't just give in to that old voice. He had promised himself he would improve during his training trip, and while the teachers may have changed, his commitment hasn't. So, Naruto tried to reason things out, going over each bit slowly until he came to a conclusion. Sasuke didn't have to leave. His revenge had always been important to him, but he could have grown stronger in the village. But seeing me get better, he resented it. I wasn't supposed to be stronger than him. Maybe good enough to challenge him, but never better than he was. He left because of me. No, he left because of him. His need for revenge, his run-in with Itachi, even that seal would be what we call necessary but not sufficient. Yes, they are important factors, but he needed something to push him over the edge. His jealousy of your growth. Fukasaku said after watching his student deflate. Now how do you feel? I don't know. It's hard to call someone a friend after they nearly killed you partially out of envy, but it's hard to think our time on Team 7 didn't mean anything. He didn't respect me when I had no skills, but he resents me when I develop them. And he joined the man that killed Gigi. I wanted to save him from his darkness because I know how tempting it can be. But there is your mistake. No one can save you from your own darkness. People can only reach out to you, but you must have the strength and desire to pull yourself away from it. How far are you willing to go to reach out again? How close to killing you or maiming you will you allow him to go? I don't know. Nor do you have to. Not right now, but think about it. You will need to come to a decision eventually, ideally before you two meet again. I'm not training a fool looking to get himself killed. Your life, your goals, your desires matter, so keep in mind what you stand to lose if you go too far trying to save Sasuke. But how can I be an Hokage if I can't save one friend? Easily, as Hokage and Kami are not synonymous. Each Hokage has failed, each has sent ninja to die. Failing to save someone from him or herself doesn't disqualify you from being a leader. Understanding you can't save everyone, especially from themselves, is important for any leader. I've had to come to terms with it, so has Gamabunta. You may save a lot of people in your life, Naruto, but expecting to never fail to do so will break you. I understand. Good, Ma has lunch for us and then you can explore a little bit. Hi. You may want to act normal if you don't want Tsunade to execute you, Kakashi," said Jiraiya. The Sannin had found the copy Nin standing at the memorial stone, which in itself was not novel, but his body language was of a person expressing a great amount of grief. "This can't work if you're that obvious, Kakashi. I'm sorry, Jiraiya-sama, guess I couldn't appear to be as unaffected as you. You don't want to play that card with me. You couldn't even keep your team together for a year before it imploded. And what did you do? Stand by and look on indifferently, teaching Naruto the bare minimum until you dumped him. Is it worse to teach someone improperly or not teach them at all? You were outright manipulating him and didn't do much to aid him in winning his bout. Or was the Biju Chakra supposed to be his answer for everything? Yes, it was. The amount of destruction the Kyuubi brought onto the village, I figured given direction and controlled, Naruto would be near unstoppable," answered Jiraiya. "I'm sure you didn't take Naruto's feelings into account while crafting your brilliant plan. Oh, you care now? Why does someone have to die for you to give a shit about them? Guess Naruto really was like a Beto." The shot made Kakashi livid, all thoughts of his depression gone in a single instant. No words would convey how much he hated Jiraiya in this moment. Without a moment's hesitation, Kakashi attacked Jiraiya. Surprise was his ally as he managed to hit the Sannin with a right cross, but the well-honed instincts kicked in too fast, and the rest of Kakashi's assault was blocked or avoided by Jiraiya before he kicked the much younger man away from him. "You've let your reputation go to your head, boy," Jiraiya sneered. Once Kakashi had picked himself up, he decided that in this instance, he hated everything about Jiraiya and found nothing about the man redeemable. Jiraiya killed their student, Jiraiya killed Minato's son, but he has the nerve to place blame elsewhere. Because he saw Naruto as nothing but a living weapon? Kakashi may have made mistakes. No, he thinks internally, he did make mistakes. He should have done better by his team, but he trusted Jiraiya to bring Naruto along. Maybe when he returned he could help him with his affinity and other advanced studies. Now, he'd never get the chance, and it's because of this get-a-wearing fuck. Kakashi wanted Jiraiya dead and gone, and he knew just the perfect jutsu to accomplish this goal. He uncovered his Sharingan, Obito's gift. Kakashi had a Sannin to kill. Jiraiya knew Kakashi was getting serious when he revealed his Sharingan. It didn't really worry the Sannin, he considered it more a show of bravado than anything. If he wanted to memorize this ass-kicking in perfect detail and high definition, then who was Jiraiya to begrudge the prick? Besides, he hadn't put a jounin in their place in quite some time, and he had a lot of aggression to work off, so this would be good. He was tired of people placing all of the blame of Naruto's actions on him. There were years of Naruto's life Jiraiya wasn't present, and he was assured by his sensei he was well cared for and growing fine. He never considered checking to see if it were true. He trusted his sensei, and when he was told Kakashi would be Naruto's sensei, he figured the kid would be a solid Chunin candidate by the time of his return. That was not the case. But now they'll ignore the years Naruto was mistreated and focus on the 6 months he had alone with Jiraiya. They'll blame him solely for Naruto's depressive spiral, and the very thought enraged him. Jiraiya was broken out of his thoughts by the sound of chirping birds. Oh, Jiraiya thought with glee. He'd have to show the boy why his famed jutsu was nothing. As soon as the lighting blade had formed, Kakashi took out as fast as he could, saturating his muscles with chakra. Whatever damage done could be healed later. He need to drive his hand through the chest of Jiraiya, nothing else mattered. Jiraiya took off to match Kakashi's approach, unconcerned by the boy's impending attack. Raikiri/Rasengan, the duo called out as their jutsu clashed, causing an explosive backlash that blew both away. It hadn't taken long for both men to shake off the confusion caused by the blast, but before they could start round 2, they were surrounded by Anbu and watching the approach of one Tsunade Senju. Instantly, the anger both men felt vanished as they could only watch as their Hokage walked toward them, looking no less disgusted with the sight of them as she had been in her office. Jiraiya watched as Tsunade marched over to Kakashi. Without saying a word, the slug princess placed Kakashi's chin between her index finger and thumb, and gave his head a firm shake, instantly knocking the copy ninja out and likely giving him a concussion. As soon as the lights went out of Kakashi's eyes, Tsunade turned and made her way to Jiraiya, him now getting on his feet hoping to plead his case. Before a coherent word could be uttered, the Hokage hit Jiraiya with a bone-rattling punch on the left side of his body, right below his ribcage, also sending him into unconsciousness. In their shared hospital room, it was Kakashi that awoke first, briefly catching the gaze of his irate Hokage. He didn't dare speak, for fear any word uttered would be akin to the rabbit alerting the fox to its presence, a foolish way to court death. While he knew better than to speak, the tension in the room gave him the intense desire to change the mood, but he called upon all his discipline as a veteran shinobi to not make that mistake. Jiraiya stirred and fully awoke, 10 minutes after Kakashi did, and he too realized the folly in making a noise in the presence of Tsunade. Jiraiya, you will be tasked a team of A and BU. You will find out everything you can about the Akatsuki and if possible, eliminate their members. Make sure all your skills are sharp and my A and BU don't get rusty. Kakashi, tomorrow at 9 a.m. there will be a Jounin meeting. Every Jounin, special or otherwise, will be put on a training regimen to increase their skills. When Jiraiya gets enough actionable intelligence, we're going to war. Every Jounin sensei will be encouraged to get their students up to Chunin. As soon as they do, they'll be leaving them alone. We don't have time to coddle anyone. Since your team is dissolved, that won't be an issue for you. As soon as she finished, Tsunade left the two men alone, the tension exiting with her. This is bad. A Tsunade too angry to threaten me is a level of anger I've never seen, and she's almost killed me before, Jiraiya said before performing a few hand seals, creating a privacy barrier. Look, brat, whatever we need to say to each other we need to do it now, because if we fuck up one more time Tsunade will kill us, and it won't be pretty. Taking a few moments to collect himself, you gave up on him, didn't you? Like he said in his letter? Yes. Why? Because I felt he was squandering Minato's gift, and I resented him for it. He was Minato's gift, the Kyuubi was a burden. Such a gift you didn't bother. Almost got him killed by your pet Uchiha. Fuck you, Jiraiya. I taught Sasuke a technique to fight an unstable Jinchuriki. I made him swear to not use it on a comrade. I won't pretend I was the best sensei. I know there is more I could have done, and it's quite apparent Naruto needed someone to be straight with him. I wanted him to learn to grow on his own, to not just depend on me. Bullshit. Minato didn't train you that way, I know that for a fact. He was a genin dipshit, not an ANBU trainee. And how was he supposed to know what you wanted? Because you constantly ignored him? The entire village did that. It only would have made him dig his heels in deeper to get your acknowledgement. But you're such a smug, insensitive prick, you didn't care how you were playing on the boy's psychological issues. You wanted him to see underneath the underneath but couldn't be bothered to teach him how. And if you knew my faults, why were you the same way? Because it was easier. All the secrets and regrets surrounding the kid. Him depending on me not to fail him when I've been failing him his entire life. If he could control the fox, then no matter how I taught him, he would survive. He wouldn't be killed before he was 30. I wouldn't outlive him, so yeah, when I saw he couldn't control the fox it angered me. He wanted to be a shinobi. I've taught a shinobi legend and he's still wound up dead. Naruto needed to be more even if he didn't want to be or didn't know he needed to be. I would have improved on his skills in time, but the plan was always about controlling the fox. Oh, go fuck yourself. Your insistence he control the fox wasn't rooted in anything other than selfishness. Your search for the child of prophecy. A knucklehead with a bijou behind him couldn't possibly fail, but if you trained him as an actual ninja he might question your beliefs, and you couldn't have that. Spat Kakashi. The two elite ninja would continue on like this for another hour, either finding the cure for their guilt nor an outlet for their anger at having failed Naruto. While both can see how their faults and more clearly the faults of the other man, since no amends could be made, or so they assumed, the only things left were bitterness and regret. Dear Bachan, I'm sorry. I know I was being selfish and I didn't mean to hurt anyone with my actions, I just didn't see another way, but I promise I'll never do that to you or Shizen again. My short time with the Toads has been nice, and they have all been supportive. I won't say I'm doing better as there are still days I feel shaky, I guess is the best way to put it, but I don't feel hopeless anymore. It is weird to look back on that mindset. It hasn't been long but I was at peace with my decision. How can you be hopeless and at peace? I don't know, I've never been good at unraveling contradictions. Gamahiro was talking to me, telling me how the sailors of old used the stars to navigate the seas. I guess I felt like I was a sailor under a starless sky, adrift with no way to make it home. I asked myself why my friends weren't my guides, why those bonds I've desired for so long felt like the very clouds blocking the light I needed. I finally concluded it was because I've never really had someone to disappoint before, and the thought that I would hurt. I don't want to be looked upon as a failure anymore, and that fear twisted how I thought about you all. Instead of a source of comfort and strength, the looks of disappointment, I imagine, became my greatest pain. I guess fear of disappointing those you care about is something you learn to deal with when you're young, so it was pretty embarrassing that I couldn't manage it but live and learn. I don't know how I'd be when my time here is over, but I do hope it is someone you and everyone can be proud of and someone I can be proud of too. I guess we'll just have to see when the time comes. Love, Naruto. Hi Nei-chan. I'm sorry I hadn't written you yet, but a part of me feared if Granny didn't get the first few she'd punch me into my next lifetime, and I really don't want that. How are things? Granny said you're helping train Sakura-chan. I hope that's going well. The Toads are cool, though watching Gamakichi trying to land a date with the girl he likes is quite painful. Makes me wonder if that's what I look like. If so, I think I'm going to swear off relationships for a while out of retroactive embarrassment. I've learned something interesting. My shadow clones return their memories to me, ain't that neat? I wouldn't have discovered it if Gamatatsu wasn't being a pain. Who greets someone by throwing a rock? How could I be expected to catch it when you're yelling like a maniac? Although, I think I just discovered why Guy-sensei yells dynamic entry when he does his flying kick. He actually nailed Jiraiya with that. Anyway, because of the clone discovery, though I'm still wondering why neither Kakashi nor Jiraiya pointed this out to me, I've started on elemental manipulation. Gamabunta insisted I start on Suetun. He doesn't even know if it's my affinity, after he explained affinities to me. I questioned him on it, but he just gave me a look that implied he'd squish me if I didn't hop to, get it? And even I'm not dumb enough to argue with a mountain-sized toad again. Okay, but that first time I had just gone through a near-death experience, and wasn't being given due respect. He would claim I was being a brat. I think he's simply biased, but what do I know? Oh, do you or Bachan think you could send me things to read? The Toads have some stuff, but Shimaba-sama makes me read toad poetry, and I don't understand it. At all. So, please, Nei-chan? You're my only hope. All in all, things are going great, even if the food leaves something to be desired and Gamma Hero is way too into his swords. I miss you guys, so give Bachan a hug from me, but don't tell her it's from me. I don't want her getting a swelled head or whatever. Hokage should be humble and diligent, and this is me doing my part. Love, future master of all water everywhere. Ugh. He groaned as he hit the ground. Was he really this out of shape? Honestly? This is most unyouthful, my rival. You must give your full attention to receive full benefits. YOSH. Guy exclaimed to Kakashi. You're right, Guy. Sorry, lost my head there for a bit. So I see, is there something bothering you? It isn't like you to space out. Oh, just my student and the last link to my sensei is dead. I failed him to the point he actively wondered if I had at one time sent him toward his death. I can't tell you he's gone or Tsunade will kill us both, and I still want to ram a Raikiri through that Gamma bastard. Just thinking about how much work we have ahead of us to combat the Akatsuki. Ah yes, a most unyouthful organization. Especially to be targeting those like Naruto, but I'm sure with Jiraiya's guidance he will be more than ready to meet the challenges ahead of him. Guy stated. Kakashi had to fight the urge to snort, and roll his eyes at the benefits of Jiraiya's guidance, his anger at the white-haired man outweighing his guilt for just a moment. I'm sure Naruto is in good hands. But let's back to it. Kakashi said as he picked himself up off the ground and the two jounin re-engaged in their spar. It had been a month since Tsunade announced to her jounin their need to start training as she wanted them prepared to meet the Akatsuki head-on instead of being reactive. For the jounin sensei, they were required to increase their and their students' training, which did not go unnoticed by said students. When asked why, each of the remaining rookie 12 teams were told it was simply mandated by Tsunade-sama. Privately, Tsunade had informed them that she expected each member of those teams to be made a chunin by their third exam, if they didn't qualify for a field promotion. So, here was Kakashi training hard with his rival even when he truly wants to just stop, give up and fade away. Kakashi knows he handles things like loss poorly and has trouble moving on. The fixation with the past is a hallmark of his most painful failures, so a part of him welcomes being tasked with throwing himself back into work, into training. One doesn't have time to wallow when they are dancing on a knife's edge during multiple A and S rank missions. What can I do for the honorable elders today? Tsunade, we heard Jiraiya was in the village without Naruto and wanted to know where he is and why he wasn't with Jiraiya for his protection. Asked Hamura. Jiraiya assured me that he had Naruto someplace safe, but he needed to return to aid in our shift in priorities. So, is he not primarily focused on training Naruto anymore? You know Jiraiya is easily distracted, said Koharu. Actually, the team of A and BU I sent with Jiraiya should aid in Naruto's training. It was unwise to have so much of our intelligence reliant on one person. Jiraiya needed to start training people to take over his network, or at the very least have people he can delegate parts to. Now, he can focus where we need him to, and Naruto will be receiving the training he needs for his upcoming challenges. The three elders nodded and Hamura spoke. What about the fight between Jiraiya and Kakashi? We can't have our top shinobi trying to kill each other's. Given Naruto's progress with Jiraiya, he was angry at Kakashi's lack of attentiveness concerning his development. The further he had been along when Jiraiya got him, the further he'd be along with his current training. I spoke with both and they understand this can happen again. We need unity to overcome our future challenges. Seeing that the trio had no further questions, Tsunade bid them good day. Hamura and Koharu exited while Danzo stayed behind. You weren't exactly specific on where Naruto was, Tsunade-sama. I was not, and the others understood that to mean I wasn't going to reveal his location. Won't or can't? He's too important to this village's future to be cavalier about his safety and training. You should have allowed me to train him. Tsunade bit back her reflexive response of fuck no, not because she would actually consider allowing the man to train Naruto, but given the results of Jiraiya's tutelage, it's hard to be too self-righteous about his methods as they don't tend to result in suicide attempts. She decided to be more diplomatic about it, and test how committed to Naruto's progression the War Hawk really is. I have no doubts Naruto could have learned a great deal from you, Danzo. It's the extreme emotional conditioning that would have been an issue, not concerns I'd make him more loyal to me than you. No, the first signs you had, you would have been executed. The first seal on him that didn't belong, you would have been executed. Sensei was adamant in his notes that you never put him through your full program, and I have to agree. However, like I said, there are things Naruto could learn from you. Would you be willing to write up some training scrolls? I could get them to Jiraiya in no time. Danzo wanted to smile at Tsunade's words, not because he didn't believe her but because he did. He respected Hiruzen, even if certain actions would point to the contrary. But the man had gotten soft in his old age. It appears Tsunade is not similarly burdened. It shows strength that a Kage is open to removing opposition, consequences be damned. He might actually start to respect the Senju princess. Is that an order, Tsunade-sama? No, I didn't think it needed to be. We agree that Naruto becoming stronger, more well-rounded is better for him, and the village. You put the needs of the village above all else. I figured you'd jump at the chance to have some influence over his development. Indeed. It'd be good to pass my vacuum manipulation on to someone. Among other things. Yes, I will get right on that. You speak as if you know his affinity. Hiruzen had the boy tested when he was younger. It's buried, but it is in his files, if Kakashi or Jiraiya had ever bothered to read it. I think Hiruzen was toying with the idea of training him on the side but changed his mind for some reason. Well, if that is all? Of course, just get me those materials as soon as you can. As she watched Danzo leave her office, Tsunade made a note to go through Naruto's file fully to see what other information may have been there that has been overlooked. What are we doing today, pervy sage? You hear me, pervy sage? What did you say? Jiraiya asked, startled. I asked if you were okay, Jiraiya-sama. You spaced out for a moment while relaying your orders. Oh, great. Jiraiya thought as he had been experiencing moments where he would hear Naruto's voice when others were talking to him, likely caused by grief he has been ordered not to show. His usual method of dealing with loss, work, women, and drink had not been as effective as it had been in the past. At the silent judgment of his ANBU squad, and Jiraiya was finding himself in a bad spot. He had never been one of those people that could make every fiber of his being live for the mission. It just wasn't his style. He needed his distractions, the little side adventures of life to get by. So, getting lost in duty wasn't going to cut it for him, but his normal vices were losing their luster. Here he was, gearing up for one more war, for one more occurrence of senseless violence. He could tell himself he'd do it for the village that raised and nurtured him, but he had so little attachment to the village. Almost everyone who is important to Jiraiya is gone. One of them is so disgusted with him that he might as well be dead to her. It was hard to remember the love for the village when he resented it so. If he were able, he'd laugh at the change of positions between Tsunade and him. But the resentment runs so deep he can't even take a small amount of amusement in the situation. He left his godson in the care of the village, believing they would help him grow, and it appears at every turn they did the exact opposite. No, his entire time away wasn't filled with danger and intrigue, but his time was better spent in the field. His sense of loss had nothing to do with not seeing Naruto for over a decade. He had his spy network, and Sensei ordered him, and the village shouldn't have disregarded Minato's wish. He sacrifices himself, and those two-faced sons of bitches ignore his final words almost immediately. Couldn't they see that the boy had great potential and was going to do great things if they had just established a solid foundation? If Kakashi had built upon that, even a little Jiraiya could have taken him far. But he wasn't starting with much, decent taijutsu, high reserves, and the will to never give up. There needed to be more. He only had 6 months with him on the road. 6 months is not a lot of time, it's barely any. He couldn't spend all his time training him, he had to manage his network, he had to have his downtime. Besides, what were people expecting? To fix all that was wrong with Naruto, be it his basics to his psychological needs, and magically turn him into an S-rank shinobi in 3 years' time? It wasn't possible, not with all the other things he needed to do. What are you going to teach me today, pervy sage? Stop asking me that, Jiraiya-sama? Oh great. Jiraiya thinks as now the full squad is here, and he looks like a lunatic. He can't deal with this today, he needs some downtime, the spy network can wait for a day. You guys just take a day, I'll speak with you all tomorrow. Dismissed, Jiraiya said as he walked off toward a destination known only to him, to the confusion of his assigned ANBU. How has the boy's training progressed? Gamamaru inquired. Fine, replied Fukasaku. Why so terse? It is likely that this boy is the child, the one Jiraiya has been looking for, the one foretold. That's exactly why. I let you fill Jiraiya's head with your prophecy, never once stopping to think the effects telling him would have. He dedicated much of his identity to finding the one you told him about, and with each failure he broke. So defeated, he couldn't even put forth a real effort with Naruto. No, you've tainted one apprentice of mine with your foolishness. I will not have you do it to another. Do you forget to whom you speak, Fukasaku? I am not some relic that will be admonished freely by you. That is exactly what you are. You think because you've taken a small break to clear out the opium smoke that you can demand respect and obedience from me? A relic is exactly what you are. Tell me, who is the last tadpole you've actually taken and molded? Who comes to you for your wisdom, for your guidance? No, they come to Shima and I. We've kept the toads strong, we've kept them disciplined, and have had a line of powerful summoners. Naruto is in a fragile place, he's putting himself back together. It's a slow process, he can't be your savior right now. It asks too much from a boy that's been given so little. This is no time for us to rehash past arguments. Naruto is too important, and if not for Gamakichi, he's be the most important corpse in history. He cannot handle this right now. He needs to start discovering who he is, not what's expected of him, not a personality built around the rejection of others, but who he truly wants to be. If by the end of this process he is the young man I think he can become, he may very well save the shinobi system. If not, then we'll go from there, but I won't let you plant that seed. Seeing that Fukasaku won't budge, Gamamaru can only shake his head. Is this what we've devolved to? You used to trust me, trust in my counsel. Yes, until you put the weight of the world on some poor boy and aided in him becoming an old fool. If Jiraiya was meant to teach the child of prophecy, he would have done so. There was no reason to interfere. I said as much, but because I trusted you, even more than I trusted myself, I relented. It did not turn out for the best. There are forces aligning themselves against Naruto, and those like him. He needs to be prepared. Everything else is secondary to that. As you once trusted me, I will afford you the same. Thank you, but I will meet the boy. This is non-negotiable. That is fine. Shima spoke from the doorway before Fukasaku could respond to the declaration. Fukasaku, having learned over a lifetime to have faith in his wife, did not contradict her, as he left, only replying, "It is fine, but go against our agreement, and you'll have forced my hand." "I don't foresee that being an issue," Fukasaku and Shima heard Gamamaru say. "Everybody's a comedian," Shima whispered as the two left the temple. 10 minutes into their commute, both elders had remained quiet, but Shima could no longer tolerate the tension. "You're angry, husband. It'd be best to resolve this before our return, and you upset the tadpoles. Why did you agree to have him meet Naruto? Because as much as he has fallen out of your favor, he still is who he is. You want to take over? Kill him. If not, then we'll have to make concessions. I doubt he'll cross you, as while he may not like this decades-long Cold War, it is more functional than outright hostilities. More functional because he leaves everything in our hands, his are occupied with his precious pipe. Maybe so, but we have benefited from the arrangement, and no matter how fond of Jiraiya, Minato or Naruto the Toads are or were, almost none of them would be okay with you moving against one of our own on their behalf, especially not him. Gamabunta would be livid. Am I so past my prime, wife, that I should be concerned with Bunta's temper tantrum? Fukasaku asked, teasingly. Of course not, you're still as spry as the day I meet you, but cohesion is better than conflict and discord. You're right. Of course I am. Humble too. Fukasaku muttered. Hello Naruto-kun. I'm happy to hear from you, and I wasn't offended that wrote your bachan first. Tsunade and you just have the oddest relationship. I'm glad you seem to be feeling better. You had us worried, so don't do that again, or the next time you're in the hospital I'll extend it for a month. I'm joking mostly. I gave Tsunade your hug, but I had to tell her it was from you, as she's not the hugging type. She mumbled something about presumptive brats, but she was touched, I could tell. Sakura is doing well. She'll make a fine combat medic as long as she stays focused and works hard. I'm sending you a broad range of things. I don't know what you like, so it's pretty scattershot. However, if something grabs your interest, let me know and I can start curating some selections for you. That's quite the discovery about your shadow clones. I'm sure it'll help you advance faster than you could imagine. Just don't overdo it. The brain is delicate, so build up slowly the numbers of clones you use and dispelling them slowly as well. Suiton is a good, balanced element. Strong attacks and defense. The Nidaime Hokage was a master of Suiton and could pull it from the air. If you could manage that, you wouldn't even need to be near a body of water. You should try to stay on Gamabunta-sama's good side. From my understanding, boss summons tend to be a little well. They can act like divas, but don't tell anyone I said that, or it's another month added to your hospital stay. Smiley face. Get stronger and stay well. Shizen Kato. Naruto Uzumaki age 7. Having just unlocked his chakra, I am not left with a decision. Naruto has a good deal of chakra for his age, and it will only increase. It is likely that the academy exercises would not be enough, and it would be foolish and unfair to expect a boy to prioritize chakra control with no prompting from an outside source. It is also apparent from his disguised sessions with Inoichi that Naruto's need for acknowledgement from the villagers may overwhelm all other concerns negatively, impacting his studies. I could train him privately, but the risks are the same as with every child pushed too hard too fast. Examples not need be given. Another such risk is that Naruto may grow to resent the villagers if he excels but still is not acknowledged as such. Unfortunately, Naruto cannot be allowed to indulge in such emotions, even if they are justified. It shames me to even think this, but due to his burden, Naruto must be loyal to Konoha. Him considering attacking the villagers or leaving the village simply can't happen. It is unfair, and given the extent of the injustices he has endured, none greater than being denied knowledge of his lineage and his burden, I have to add another. Why make this a dichotomous choice? Truthfully, it would not do for Naruto to possess skills he had not been taught at the academy only to have the villagers claim it a sign of the demon taking hold, but demanding he keep his progress secret would only bristle against his need to be seen as valuable. In the end, I believe giving Naruto at least a chance at a normal life is better than not. Any deficiencies he may develop, I believe, can be overcome with a diligent Jounin sensei. Naruto Uzumaki age 9. Just out of idle curiosity I tested his chakra affinity, wind. Of course it'd be the rarest element in the village. I wonder if Asuma would be willing to take a team. Naruto struggles in school. Being near universally disliked doesn't exactly help. I've checked to make sure there is no active sabotage, and all examples discovered have been remedied. However, that doesn't negate the impact of the unfairness he experiences. He has taken to pranking as an outlet, and while not ideal, I can't fault him some form of social protest. He's actually good, if only he'd learned the point was not to get caught, although he doesn't get caught so much as he doesn't deny responsibility when accused. I've taken to making him walk me through his process so he's never wrongly punished for something he didn't do. Naruto Uzumaki age 10. If not for the clone jutsu he'd be a genin now, but it's too early and I can't be sure a jounin wouldn't fail a team just to fail him and force him into the reserves. I know he won't be able to perform this jutsu, but if it keeps him from graduating ahead of schedule then I will allow it. When his class is scheduled to graduate, I will give him the promotion after the test and a clone jutsu, water or earth most likely. Naruto Uzumaki age 11. Many think Naruto is slow-witted and I have, myself, had concerns about his acuity and focus, but the attention to detail and level of thought he puts into his pranks would disprove these accusations. It was by accident I stumbled across the issue. While treating him to ramen, I watched as Naruto held 3 full conversations simultaneously. Something that should be impossible, but he did it without struggle. The 2 ramen chefs saw nothing wrong with this, which leads me to believe he's been able to do it for some time. This would lead me to speculate that Naruto is able to contain multiple lines of thought wholly unrelated to each other at one time. If that's the case, he'd have trouble focusing, as he's essentially living much of his life without a filter. Something else to add to his sensei, likely Kakashi. Naruto Uzumaki, age 12. He knows about his burden now and took the news well, better than I could have hoped. With him learning the Shadow Clone Jutsu in a single night, any gaps in his knowledge can be corrected. I find myself reluctant to give him to Kakashi, but a leader must have faith in those he commands. If, for some reason, Naruto fails the true genin test, I will take him on as my last apprentice. Maybe I will finally train a Hokage yet. As Tsunade read through her sensei's observations regarding Naruto, she can't help but wonder if there wasn't more he could do even if he didn't think it so. It read as if Hiruzen took the path of least resistance, as it resulted in his preferred outcome, a Naruto too emotionally dependent to consider defecting. Her time being Hokage has demonstrated the hard decisions and compromises one needs to make, even acknowledging the War Hawk is one such example. But was this really necessary? Could Sarutobi find no one in this village that could raise Naruto? And if so, how did that level of animus fester for so long? She'd have to investigate, because people ostracizing a child for that long when he displayed nonviolent tendencies is absurd, and she doesn't want it to continue. Naruto shouldn't have to nearly kill himself to gain acceptance, or a sense of peace. Danzo was prompt in his delivery of the training materials, and from what the blonde Hokage saw, it seemed it would be quite beneficially to Naruto, even if him slipping in his own books covering tactics, strategy and multi-party conflict resolution felt a little self-indulgent. How could a War Hawk/future usurper have so much time and still run his shadow government? Tsunade wondered and then laughed to herself as she felt jealous he had a lighter workload than her. The training of her ninja forces seemed to be going well, most hitting the desired benchmarks. Even Kakashi is managing to keep his head out of his ass long enough to be of some use. There will be a Chunin exam soon, and if the teams that go put forth a strong enough showing, she'll find ways to get them field promotions if they don't earn it at the exams. Now, if only Jiraiya would come through with some solid intelligence. Her updates from the ANBU team had not been promising, and she is torn because she doesn't have the time to hold Jiraiya's hand through this, but she won't alleviate his guilt, denial, or whatever else is wrong with him by informing him Naruto is still alive. It was luck that saved Jiraiya from it being true, but he needs to live with his choices, and when the time comes for him to find out, they'll both just have to deal with the fallout. ANBU, despite what many believe, are not necessarily the strongest shinobi in a hidden village, though are generally quite adept at combat. Those selected to join the elite service, however, tend to have special skills that can be utilized, and since most of their work is clandestine, they must excel at stealth and flawless teamwork. ANBU must also be highly disciplined. The mandates of their workload demand as much, so it is saying something when one manages to annoy an ANBU to the point of making passive-aggressive statements. Jiraiya has gone past this stage and is nearing outright insubordination as his squad is getting fed up with the Sanin's antics and their lack of progress. As distracted as he is, Jiraiya has noticed the turn in the environment, and frankly simply didn't care at first. He had become accustomed to people criticizing his habits. However, when the mild disrespect morphed into a constant questioning of his decisions and unspoken demands that he justify himself, Jiraiya had reached his limit, which is why he has his hand around the neck of one of the said ANBU while the others are trying to separate them. Say it again, you little shit. The Gamma Sannin roared as he finally let go of the ANBU member. Taking a moment to stop coughing, while rubbing his neck, Rat responded, "We've been at this for months without a solid lead. We know no more now than we did when we left, and your taste for sake and whores isn't going to change that. I didn't become a shinobi to watch one of our legends disgrace himself, and we all could be put to better use. Fine then, return to Konoha. Tell Tsunade I relieved you of your duty." "Oh, piss off." Hawk cut in. "We only answer to Hokage-sama, and we don't tell her to do anything. Until she orders us back, we're stuck with you. I'd like to think my time away from my kids counts for something." "This isn't it," he finished. "Look, there is an art to intelligence gathering that you aren't familiar with, so just let me handle things how I handle them. We've been letting you handle them, there has been no results. Where is the Uzumaki anyway? I thought he was your apprentice. Shouldn't he be here with you?" asked Mole. "He's in an undisclosed location known to only Tsunade and I. Don't inquire about his location again." "Fine, where to next?" asked Rabbit. "You're the cure." "And what do we plan to find there, Jiraiya-sama?" asked Mole. "I have an information broker there. I'll see if he knows anything." The 4 ANBU nod, but as Jiraiya departs, Hawk summons a messenger bird with an emergency message for Tsunade. They were not going to fail their mission because of Jiraiya. Staring at me will not accomplish anything. You gave me your word. I'm old, Fukasaku. Sometime my mind slips. Besides, the boy has the right to know a prophecy pertaining to him. You don't know that it was merely a guess. You being old and generally useless is one thing. Even retaining a seat of honor and authority I can accept, but to do this to another of my pupils, once more. The boy was getting a firm hold on himself again. And you may have undone months of work, you selfish blight. You'll be relocating to the mountains. Live the rest of your days in seclusion. Your time has long passed, Gamamaru. You think I will just leave because you command me to do so? Fukasaku said nothing, he just tapped his walking stick to the ground and 3 Tonto-wielding toads emerged from the shadows. The consequence of refusal having been made sufficiently clear, Fukasaku turns to leave, either toad exchanging any more words. Fukasaku made his way to Naruto and Shima, taking a deliberate pace to calm himself. After coming to terms with his outrage, Fukasaku reached his pupil but allowed the boy to speak first. Were you going to tell me? I don't know. Possibly, later near the end of your time here. Did you not trust me to handle it, that I'd be too fragile to deal with the responsibility? Naruto asked, with a defeated tone. It was not an issue of trust but partially. Yes, I didn't think you were strong enough to handle this weight. Seeing Naruto was about to respond, Fukasaku lifted his hand, signaling Naruto to stay silent. What you had considered doing was no small thing, tadpole. Until you had sufficiently healed, what could a prophecy that may or may not be about you do? Make you feel even more guilty for contemplating ending your life? Seeing his pupil's look of shock, Fukasaku replied, You didn't think I noticed? You've been getting better at masking your emotions, but I'm quite old. It'd take a lot to fool me. Naruto, this prophecy may very well be about you, but if it were outside of training for known threats, what could you have done? You don't know what choices or non-choices would tip the scales in one direction or another, but I have to at least try, right? Even if it isn't me, I should at least try, I suppose. I'll curse that old toad until the day I depart this realm for putting this on you. In 1 month I'll expect you to have mastered everything you've learned thus far up to my standards. After that, we'll get into your advanced training, including the material your father left here. When I deem you ready, you'll start taking on some missions back in your realm. Really? Wait, my father? You know who my father was? But Naruto paused. Living with the toads for as long as he has, he realizes that they wouldn't keep things here for just anyone, so his father had to be a previous summoner. The 2 most famous summoners were Jiraiya and no fucking way. Ouch. Naruto shouted as he was hit on the head by Fukasaku's cane. Yes, he indeed was your father, and while I didn't know your mother extremely well, I will request Tsunade send any information or belongs she has of her and him. What was her name? Kushina Uzumaki. From what I remember of her, you two had a lot in common. Even more so considering she used to contain the fox you now hold. What? Yeah, you didn't think giant foxes just appeared out of nowhere, did you? Never really considered it, honestly. It's not a day most people like to remember, and my best source of information was Gigi. Correction, your best source of information is the QB. During the next phase of your training, you will be coming into contact with him to see if you two can come to terms with each other. Do you think it'll help me use his chakra? I have no idea. He may never allow you true access to his chakra. You can either grow strong enough so it doesn't matter or continue to take it by force if you so choose, though I would recommend not doing the latter. Ultimately, it is your choice. So save or end the shinobi way? And I used to just worry about shaming myself in front of my friends. It's a reasonable concern as any other. Just remember, Fukasaku was saying before Naruto finished. Every burden is lighter when shared with others. Hey Bachan, it's been a bit since I sent a letter, so I just wanted to check in. I'm doing okay, I think. Well, that's not entirely true. I had been improving, hadn't had a bad day in a while. It's so peaceful here and the toads are so kind and welcoming. It hadn't occurred to me until today how little I miss home. The toads don't glare at me, they don't put me down or make me feel like a failure when I mess up. It's a good feeling, and the more I grow accustomed to it, the more I worry that my drive to prove myself to the villagers was rooted in a perceived lack of choice. I never considered the possibility that I could leave Konoha or that I would be treated better anywhere else. Being out of the village on missions exposed me to the reality, but because the stays were so short I could generally put it out of my mind, even if there was a low-level reluctance to return. But because of what I am, I now know I never really had the option to leave. Never had the option to not be a shinobi, which really makes my sensei and their continued disinterest in my development all the more confusing. Did they believe I didn't deserve to be trained because I wouldn't be allowed to fail? Was I less to them, or just something they had to deal with until some unspecified time? I don't like thinking like that. I never used to. It was like when I started, I could just will the thoughts away, but I don't seem to be able to do that anymore, so now there's just so much that I hadn't considered before, but it dances around in my mind. I think back on the time I spent with Gigi, but can't block out the lifetime of lies he told me. I remember sharing dinner with Irika at Ichiraku, but also remember how he yelled out my failure during my final genin exam. I remember my time with Team 7, and all the good times are blocked by insults, both levied and received, the fights, Sakura's fists connecting with my head. I remember Sasuke impaling me with his Chidori when I deliberated avoided hitting him with my Rasengan. I remember it all and I get angry. But it's so pointless. If I were going to be angry, surely now is not the time, not when all of this is in the past, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't think I can just ignore it anymore, but I don't want to hold grudges against my precious people, although strangely you trying to obliterate me when we first met only makes me chuckle. I think I had it, at least some of it, coming. It just makes Konoha feel like an obligation, and I don't know what to do with that. Or any of it, really. Fukasaku-sensei stresses the importance of a shinobi mastering themselves, so I guess my change in thinking can be credited to his training. But I am scared, Bachan. I don't know who I'll be when this is all over, but I don't want to be a bitter, angry person tallying up the wrongs done to me and looking to settle scores. Is it really as simple as a choice, though? I'm not sure, but I feel I can't go back to how I was, so my only choice is to see things through to the end. Whatever it may be, I hope it isn't someone unrecognizable. And Uzumaki, dear Naruto, your anger is understandable and you have every right to it. As ninja, we are told to disregard your emotions or compartmentalize them so we can continue on. This is unhealthy. I lost myself to my grief, so it may sound hypocritical coming from me, but you shouldn't repress your emotions, nor should you dwell on them. What you should do is work through them. No single emotion has a destined reaction, and how you react is something you can control. If you are angry, understand why and resolve to not allow that treatment to happen in the future. If I had found it in myself to work through my issues, who knows what changes that would have wrought. The process may be long. It will certainly be difficult, but if you can find peace within and with yourself, it'll be worth it. Don't worry so much about changing, you're supposed to, and even if you aren't the brat you were when you left, those who care about you should be willing to adjust. Don't diminish yourself for the sake of others, become the best version of yourself. Also, take time to relax. Introspection is good, too much makes you boring and broody. If you come back all sullen, I'll punch it right out of you. Yes, I know I contradicted myself. When you can crack mountains with your fists, you can do that. Smiley face, Tsunade Senju, Earth style. Earth wall, Kiba yelled and still managed to create a wall that wouldn't protect him from a fart, and given his past, one would think he'd be motivated to protect himself from that. Kakashi, fighting the urge to create an Earth-style wall and ram Kiba's head into it, knows he isn't being fair comparing Kiba to Naruto. While Naruto would have stayed training all day and all night until he mastered the jutsu, Kiba works hard until he is told he can stop. It's understandable, and yet the copy ninja really hates the kid. He knows it's his fault he never got to teach Naruto elemental manipulation. He could have keyed the kid in on the shadow clone trick and rammed his head full of jutsu. Maybe even given him something to counter the Chidori, but he didn't. What he has done is attempt to help the fellow rookies learn some jutsu so they'd have a better chance at the Chunin exams, and yet he finds he really hates them all. He may kill Shikamaru, Shikaku, and Asuma be damned. He'll snap that little fucker's neck. Granted, the boy is already a Chunin, which Kakashi feels is rather complete and total bullshit. His strategy may have been impressive, but you don't get timeouts in real Chunin fights. When Kakashi watched the recording of Naruto's fight, at least he was coming up with strategies on the fly, in the heat of things. Anyway, if he hears troublesome again, Kakashi is sure he'll snap and harm the boy. At least he is, even if it is undeserving in Kakashi's estimation, a Chunin. His other teammates are just as lazy with none of the accomplishment. Kakashi assumes Choji is a sweet kid, but the constant munching is more annoying than the numerous troublesomes. He has thought a lot about calling the kid fat just to see what happens. Granted, when one who is quite hefty gets stuck in the ground during a Earth style, hiding like a mole jutsu, you invite certain thoughts about yourself. You know? She screeches he hates that. Enough said. Shino, Kakashi is convinced, will either be dead by Kakashi's hand or vice versa within 5 years. He has no idea why he thinks that, but he is rather convinced it is true nonetheless. He'll start making plans now, as he assumes Shino will, if he hasn't started already. A nod from the boy is taken as confirmation. The great game is afoot. Hinata reminds him so much of Naruto that it's painful. The little kunoichi that could accept she can't form a fireball. He really wants her to just form the fireball. It's just a fireball. He knows she's giving her all, but damn, it's just a fireball. He could do that when he was 8, and his balls hadn't even dropped. It's frustrating. Sakura doesn't care if it isn't medical ninjutsu, and he honestly doesn't care enough to make her care. He spends nights trying to rationalize ways to place some of the blame on her. Yes, it's unfair. Kakashi is in his petty bag right now. Guys, Team Dear Lord, the Hyuga and clone could test the patience of a sage. The panda girl is cool. Not a natural with ninjutsu, but she is putting forth the effort, though seems more interested in the chakra flow techniques instead of jutsu proper. That's more Asuma's thing. Too lazy like his team of fuckheads to weave some hand signs. Kakashi had to shake his head. He really isn't handling this well. These are his comrades and the future, and they were precious to Naruto. He should want to help them get strong for Naruto's sake. And he will. But he hates them all the same. Thames, Jiraiya has screwed up a lot in life. So much that people may be liable to call him a screw-up if not for his well-known accomplishments, being a Sannin. A Sannin and training a Kage grants you some leeway. However, patience and permissiveness are finite commodities, and Jiraiya knew he had exhausted both by what stood in front of him. A part of him wanted to simply run, let things cool down before he had to confront the unavoidable storm before him. However, delay would only make things worse. Intellectually he knew that, but screw-ups have a special voice in their heads that make them want to pick the worst option, often out of blind confidence or desperation. A lot of what's the worst that could happen is heard before the screwing up occurs, so Jiraiya was caught at war with himself at the exact time he needed to not be. Deciding the silence had held long enough, she spoke. I don't enjoy being summoned here by my ANBU, Jiraiya. I don't enjoy them telling me how you are failing in your duties once again. Seeing Jiraiya about to respond, Tsunade holds up her hand. No talking from you. I speak, you listen? You may think me a hypocrite for chastising you for your failures, but remember, I didn't ask to be Hokage. You came to me and used Naruto to emotionally manipulate me. So, I'm Hokage and I'm not going to fuck around, Jiraiya. If you can't handle gathering intelligence, then get lost somewhere nobody knows you and can't report on your whereabouts. I'll dedicate more resources to collecting information because I can't keep waiting on you to get yourself together. You're right, you are being a hypocrite, but at least you wear it well. I'm sorry I can't just pull myself together after losing the last of my family. If only I had permission to get lost in a bottle and gambling halls for years, disgracing myself the entire time. Is that supposed to hurt me, Jiraiya? Or guilt me in some way? Just stating facts, Haim. Oh, you want to state some facts, Jiraiya? Okay, let's state some facts. I left the village after the majority of the people I have ever loved were killed, the last two being entirely preventable. I tried my best to enact the changes required to protect them, but our sensei dismissed my proposal, and a few years later, right around the time a new medical corps would be ready to join all ninja squads, I lose my brother, and have to watch the man I love die, drowning in his own blood. You lost Naruto because you couldn't give a shit to try. That's not— Shut up, Jiraiya. I'm talking now. You didn't give a shit. You never met the boy until he was already a teenager, and your most significant act was tossing him off a cliff, because you couldn't be bothered to actually teach. The boy loses the one person he saw as family, and were you there for him? Did you help him through his grief? Nope, you just dragged him along to confront a bitter, old drunk and managed to get him almost kidnapped and nearly killed. And his reward for that? You half teaching him the Rasengan. You never went out of your way for Naruto. You never did anything that would inconvenience you on his behalf. So, you want me to state some more facts, or you ready to shut the fuck up and do your goddamn job? What do you want me to say, Tsunade? I never thought being his godfather would entail much because I never thought something would happen to Minato and Kushina. I don't care. I'm not here for you to unburden yourself. You don't deserve it. Live with the cost of your failure. Live with the knowledge that your indifference broke a boy when a lifetime of scorn and mistreatment couldn't. My only concern is if you're of use. So, are you Jiraiya? Are you of use? So, that's how it's going to be? You know, it's not like Jiraiya started before he was interrupted. Are you of use or are you not of use? Fine, for NAR. No, not for Naruto. That ship has sailed. There is no redemption to be found, Jiraiya. Naruto is gone from you. This is just the cold, hard business of a shinobi village. You won't even give me that comfort? No. Fine, Tsunade. I'll get your damn intel and we can go on from there, but we're finished as anything more than shinobi and Kage. Jiraiya spat. That ship too has sailed. Do you think my words were empty when I said I was putting my faith in Naruto? That it was just the heat of the moment thing? If so, then you really don't know me. You have no idea what that boy meant to me, and I entrusted his welfare to you, Jiraiya. Not because you were his godfather, I could give two shits about your claim to him, but because I trusted you. I trusted you with one of the most precious things in the world to me, and you broke it. You dimmed his light until it was extinguished, and now everything is a little darker for me. I'll never go back to that place I was before Naruto, and you found me because I wouldn't disgrace him, but damn it if it isn't alluring. You took something from me, and Jiraiya, you'll never know how close I was to killing you. Friendship didn't stay my hand. Only the thought that Naruto wouldn't want that, wouldn't want those he cared about at each other's throats over him, but that can only deter me for so long. Just do your fucking job and stop wasting my NBU. If we never speak face to face again, it's fine with me. You died along with Naruto as far as I'm concerned, Tsunade said, and dispersed in a cloud of smoke, signaling it was a shadow clone the entire time. Jiraiya could only lean back in his bed, mind racing at the words of his former teammate, an object of unrequited love. Absorbing the memories of her clone, Tsunade didn't know if the exchange she had with Jiraiya was the appropriate energy to bring into this meeting, but another part of her, she calls it her Uzumaki side, said fuck it, if they have a problem they can fight her. Getting back into serious training may have made her a tad more aggressive than she'd been in recent years, to the terror of her loyal ANBU training dummies. Sitting in front of her is a collection of shinobi clan heads and prominent civilians within the village. Thank you all for coming. I now call this closed-door session to commence. The topic today is of one Chunin Uzumaki Naruto, she said, and watched as many in the room had several emotions run across their face. Tsunade decided to continue. I was made aware by the Sandame's notes that much of the village carried a long-running antipathy toward the young man, and I'd like to get to the bottom of it. From Sensei's notes, Naruto never stole, never acted violently, and at most conducted elaborate pranks, but was not the first academy student to do so. While I am Hokage and while he is under my command, I will not allow large-scale civil disobedience to continue, so please inform me of your issues. Isn't he the fox? One civilian said. What the shit? No, he isn't the fox. Why would you think he was? Asked Tsunade. Because it's the only thing that makes sense. Almost everyone thinks that. We figured the Sandame said differently because he believed he could control it, but how could a baby hold back a being that powerful when our shinobi forces couldn't? She said to many nodding heads. So, you're an expert on Fuinjutsu now? No, they all responded. So, how was it your place to question the Sandame, assume he was lying and go on to subvert his intention? Because nothing else made sense. It can't be possible that at the very least the boy would be influenced by the demon. How could we know we were safe? The fact that in his entire life he's never hurt any of you nor anyone you know wasn't evidence enough? Asked Tsunade. And no, because the fox could have just been waiting. Until when? Also, was that going to be your excuse for the rest of your or Naruto's life? The fox is just being patient. Many of us don't feel that way anymore. We heard about him beating the sand demon and helping bring you back, but Tsunade-sama, please understand, not only did the boy carry a being of pure destruction, but he had no history, no claim to anything. He just appeared, so it was hard to see him as anything else when no one, not even the shinobi, treated him as more than a nuisance. If the boy had a family, I think we could have believed he really was just a child. So you can believe the yondaime could turn the fox human, or seal the fox in the boy, but you can't believe he could seal the fox in the boy but not have the boy influenced. Why, yes? They answered tentatively. The problem is, you don't get to decide. You all are experts on ninja affairs when it suits you. None of you know the first thing about Fuinjutsu, so you deciding what was true or not based on your own perceptions is asinine. I know many of us understand that now, Tsunade-sama, and we regret avoiding the boy and making him feel unwelcomed. We ignored the yondaime's final wish, and I'm not proud of that, said one civilian. Neither am I, many replied back. Okay, I think most of you get it, but spread it around. I'm lifting the sandaime's law. If I get wind of any of you spreading misinformation that Naruto is or is being unduly influenced by the fox, I'll have you and everyone you told executed. No exceptions, am I clear? Hi, good, you're dismissed. I'd like the clan heads to stay a little longer. TSK, so, I owe you an apology. The first time we spoke I was a brat. I was scared, and when I get scared I bluster through on false confidence. I could have come to you differently, so I'm sorry. Apology accepted, now go away. Well, I can't, big guy. We have some things to discuss and I'd rather do it sooner than later. I won't give you any more of my chakra. I did that and you almost got yourself killed, by an Uchiha no less, due to your foolishness. If you request power, at least have the decency to use it. Okay, I can accept that note, that's constructive. I feel like we're opening up a viable dialogue that will allow us to both self-actualize, thereby achieving the necessary catharsis to establish a fruitful relationship. If you know what any of that means, I'll eat one of my tails. Ha ha ha, I think I get the broad strokes since Shizunichan sent me a lot of psychology books, but more importantly, I'm trying to avoid making this hostile. You don't want to be here. I don't particularly want you here. You don't want to give me your power. Truthfully, I don't want it. However, we have a group of people after the both of us, and I don't have the luxury for excessive pride. Why should I care? One container is the same as another. True, it may not make a difference, however, can you think of a reason this organization would want all of the Bija together outside of 9 new Jinchuriki? If that were the case, why not just flip us, since I assume most aren't treated all that well? The only thing I can think of is too terrifying to even fully consider, and would require abilities no human has possessed in generations. And yet there is a lot we don't know, so why not just tell me? What is 9 was once 1. The sage of 6 paths created us from the Jubi. A creature you should pray is never reformed, because if it is, all you love will perish. So, what can we do? I can't do this alone, and you don't appear to want to be absorbed back into the collective. That assumes an absolute worst-case scenario, and while it may be worth planning for, ultimately I'd be free of you selfish humans, so what difference would it make, really? I don't know. Shit. 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 This is all a bit much, you know? I find out my freaking dad sealed you in me after you got out of my mom. Total mind fuck. Some old toad tells me I'm some sort of savior, maybe. At least you aren't threatening to eat me, but the whole ultimate beast of destruction should you fail thing is a double mind fuck. I don't know if I want to work with you, but I may need to work with you. We each have reasons to say fuck it and walk away, but I'm hoping we'll choose something else. And what is that? That we'll say fuck it, let's make a deal. But the issue is you have nothing I want. That's not true. I have the one thing every intelligent being wants. And what is that? Good company. Naruto said, which caused the great fox to laugh. You? Good company? If I didn't constantly heal you, I'd assume you had permanent brain damage. Okay, yeah, I've been a bit of a dumbass for a while. Never took to books. I like to be on the move, but I am changing. Besides, I'm sure you have a wealth of experiences, so who says I need to provide the discussion topics? You are serious? You want to talk to me? And have me talk about myself? What would you like to know? How I killed your parents when they tried to seal me inside you, ran them through with my claws. Fukasaku-sensei already told me they had puncture wounds, but Dad's summoning of the Shinigami and Mom having you extracted meant they'd have died anyway. What you did was just a bid for freedom. More importantly, the whole trying to push me away and find my limits so I leave you before you get attached is literally textbook. It's like page 117. Who knew Bija and human psychology would overlap? Naruto said, grinning. Don't be so smug, boy. I'm not, and I know you've been attempting to force me out of my mindscape since I got here, so you can stop now. Look, I'm not going anywhere, so what do you have to lose? Why don't we start from scratch? My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like training, my precious people, and the rare quiet moments where everything feels still. I dislike those who disregard others for petty, selfish reasons and Shimabasama's cooking. My goals are to become Hokage and hopefully leave the world better and more peaceful than when I came into it. I'd also like to be more than an obnoxious knucklehead. What's your name? Your mother never asked me my name. Mito didn't either. Bothersome, little fool. My father named me Kurama. I like freedom and peace and fighting Shikaku. I dislike humans. I have no goals, but I was once tasked with a mission that I don't know if I'll ever fulfill. Could you tell me about your father, Kurama-san? I suppose. But don't think this means we're becoming friends or anything, it's just my father was actually something special. Not some blonde bastard teleporting around, playing with forces beyond his kin. Naruto had to fight back a smile when he replied. I'm sure he was. My father was named. He got the panicked report from Gamakiri that the pair had already arrived and one was engaging the Kazekage. Fukusaka gave him some words of support. Remember your training, he said before he sent the 16-year-old off to an unsure situation. When Naruto arrived just outside of Suna, he made sure to stick to the shadows but could clearly see Gaara facing some Yamanaka-looking guy on a bird. From what information Fukusaka managed to get from Tsunade, he's Deidara of IWA and has the Bakutan bloodline, a mid to long distance fighter specializing in explosions. Naruto created a clone to find the second of the pair, Sasori, but paid special heed to remain unseen for as long as he could so to not distract the Suna forces. Continuing to shadow Gaara and Deidara became more difficult as the duo flew through the streets of Suna, but Naruto could sense Deidara's mounting frustration. A frustrated demolitions expert can only end one way, though Naruto was proud that his friend had kept up with the S-rank criminal and avoided property damage and casualties of his people. Naruto saw Deidara increase his elevation and then suddenly create a massive clay sculpture, one large enough to level a significant portion of Suna. He's going to force Gaara to protect the village and exhaust himself, Naruto thought, and realized this was his time to act. Taking out two tri-pronged kunai, Naruto tossed one directly under the path of the large bomb. Gaara had been taken by surprise at the sudden attack upon his village, and made haste to root out the assailants. When he saw the blonde in the cloak, he realized it was the Akatsuki, having been informed by the Godame Hokage. He had thought he had prepared sufficient security at the entrance of his village and briefly wondered if there was a mole within his ranks. He quickly let that thought go as he had to defend his village, and himself, from the terrorists before him. Gaara had to lament that had he the same mentality of his younger self, this fight would be somewhat easier. He wouldn't have to bother playing defense to protect the villagers, but as Kazekage he could do nothing but. The Akatsuki had made sure to keep his distance, and it appeared that he was mounting one big attack. Gaara had started to run low on chakra, determined to not draw on Shikaku and risk losing control. As he prepared a massive dome of sand, he saw a kunai fly past him. The ceiling array that appeared to swallow his perfect creation was the first sign something was off. When said creation detonated miles outside of the village, that was another. It was the third sign that most worried Deidara, but it would be the one he was least able to react to. A flash of yellow, a well-known color to all IWA nin, as it was the color of the Buddhiman himself. Deidara feared little in this world, but every IWA nin feared that color. His mind separated in a dozen different directions, wanting to slip into denial, wanting to create counterplans, but he could only stand still atop his clay bird before he felt something cold on his neck. And then, it was over. Deidara would never lay eyes on the person who killed him, never truly know what killed him. The S-rank criminal last moments were of a man reduced to a near panic, followed the embrace of nothingness. Gaara, however, did see the person that killed Deidara. While others man had been distracted by the explosion outside the village, the Kazekage was not one to lose focus of his enemy. That an exact copy of the ninja that had managed to stab his sword into the missing 9 from his collarbone through his torso was standing aside the Suna leader also didn't escape his notice. Gaara then saw the shinobi perform a series of hand seals right before another explosion occurred, but was maintained in the bubble created by that jutsu. Kazekage-sama, here the shinobi handed him a soldier pill. I know where Sasori is, and if you'll come with me we can end this. You'll have to forgive me, Konoha-san, but who are you? Gaara asked. The shinobi had taken care to remain mostly covered as he was wearing midnight blue pants, shirt, face mask and even a bandana that covered his hair. The only noticeable feature were the shinobi's blue eyes. Gaara watched as the shinobi rolled his eyes before speaking. Gaara, it's me, Naruto. And then removed his mask and bandana. So it is. I guess there is no time to catch up, so I'll follow you. Okay, just to warn you, this feels weird the first time. What do? Gaara wasn't allowed to finish before he was engulfed in a flash of yellow. Kankuro was a confident young man. He had every reason to be. While not the powerhouse his brother was, he still excelled at his chosen specialty. Many considered him the best puppeteer since Sasori, and that was a distinction he wore with pride. However, he was not arrogant. The harshness of desert life rarely left room for it, so while he may have been the best since Sasori, he didn't delude himself into thinking he was better than Sasori. One, then, could forgive him for the string of expletives he had on a constant loop inside his head as he found himself face to face, so to speak, with Sasori himself. Overwhelmed wouldn't begin to describe how he felt. His only saving grace had been a random futon or suiton jutsu used to support him and distract Sasori, but when Sasori tried to attack in the direction the jutsu originated from, he hit nothing. Kankuro was eventually able to make Sasori reveal his true body, and things had escalated from there. Being attacked by a zombie Sandame Kazekage is just a miserable experience. Watching said puppet be destroyed with a well-timed wind blade, however, was the height of joy as far as Kankuro was concerned. Due to the bipolar nature of the emotions he was feeling, Kankuro didn't know how to feel when he saw a flash of light, until he saw a shinobi he didn't know standing beside his brother. A brother who looked incredibly annoyed but wasted no time in surrounding Sasori and sand. Final words? You deserve that much, Gaara said as both S-class products of Suna recognized the end. Sasori had been prevented from summoning any more of his puppets, and seemed resigned to his death. At Tenchi Bridge I am scheduled to meet a spy I have under Orochimaru in 2 weeks' time. Maybe you can kill that annoying prick, we'll see. Sankofa Gaara said before crushing all that was Sasori. Do you think he meant the spy was annoying or Orochimaru? Seeing both Sunanin look at him, Naruto continued, What? It was an ambiguous statement. You're just too much, Naruto. Said Gaara. This is Naruto? The blonde shrimp, that defeated the person you couldn't sneeze on, makeup boy. Naruto finished for Kankuro. Oh shit, guys, I have to get going. I was supposed to report to Tsunade-chan today and shit, she's going to kill me. She's going to punch me to the moon and then I'm going to be stuck on the moon with some weird Bishounen-looking bastard. Naruto, if you don't leave, best friend or not, I may have to drown you in sand. Naruto only chuckles and hugs his brother in burden. You're so mean, Gaara. But I must be off, Naruto said before flashing away. Several jumps and moments later, Naruto was in front of a very unhappy Godame Hokage and an amused Fukasaku-sensei. So you just went to Suna and fought 2 S-rank criminals without my having ordered you to do so? Technically, yes. In my defense, time was of the essence. I also told the boy to do so. It wouldn't be the first high-ranking shinobi he's combated. You're right, it's just Naruto, they could have attempted to take you too. I know, but I was extra careful. Neither of them even saw me. I just supported Gaara and Kankuro for the most part. Yes, teleporting a massive bomb can't be classified under simple support now, can it? It can if you squint just right. Don't be funny, brat. I have half a mind to punch you to the moon. Called it / damn it, it was the response from Naruto and Fukasaku respectively as Fukasaku handed Naruto a scroll, causing Tsunade to raise an eyebrow. The tadpole said that'd be your reaction. I bet differently and lost. He seems to know you well. Don't bet on my reactions, Naruto, that's an order. Not even with you. I wouldn't engage in such undignified behavior, brat. You wanna bet? Name your STA, damn it. Tsunade finished to Naruto's laugh. Too well, maybe? Well, Ma is waiting for me, so will Jiraiya be here soon? Yes, we have just enough time to fill in, Naruto. Fill me in about what? Naruto, Jiraiya and Kakashi think you actually committed suicide. Why? Because I allowed them to think so. You may think it cruel, but they needed to understand the full weight of their actions. Not only because of who you are but because of what you contain. If you never used a drop of the Kyuubi's chakra I'd be fine with it, but had you killed yourself it would have returned, and we don't know if it would have come back for revenge. Or what? Naruto didn't immediately respond to Tsunade's words. She admitted it was cruel. There was no need for him to point it out, so Naruto forced himself to go past his initial reaction to really hear what she was saying. At his absolute lowest moment, he could have very well damned a great many people even if Kurama had no intention of harming anyone. The likelihood he'd be left alone were nil. He was under the care of Jiraiya, and while Naruto made it a point to not blame Jiraiya directly for his state of mind, he wouldn't deny the man's actions contributed to them. Fukasaku-sensei was a fan of the phrase necessary but not sufficient, and Jiraiya's actions were just the last of a lifetime of unbearable weight that finally made the blonde buckle. Was allowing his godfather to think he was dead just? Tsunade had never struck him as malicious, so maybe there was something he was missing. Seeing both the Hokage and his sensei look at him in anticipation, he finally spoke. I understand your reasoning, but it still feels extreme. I'm not judging, I guess I just don't understand. Surely the letter would have been enough. Unlikely, Fukasaku started. There would have been a period of recrimination, but there is a certain kind of morbid freedom in the irreversibility of your death. There could be no false promises to make it up to you or to do better. The failure was absolute. This was not done solely to punish them, Naruto, though I'll admit when I saw your state of mind I was furious with Jiraiya. Still am, but I took no delight in his suffering. However, I needed him to do better, you and the village did as well. Especially when I felt his handicapping you was motivated by selfishness. Said Tsunade. What do you mean? Naruto asked, to which Tsunade looked at Fukasaku. Tadpole, before I lost faith in Jiraiya I was content with allowing him to decide when you'd find out about your heritage and receive the works of your parents. Jiraiya insisted you weren't mature enough, but Tsunade and I both believe he would have waited to tell you, provided he ever did, when it best suited his purposes. Namely when he was sure you wouldn't turn your back on him out of spite. Because of the prophecy? I don't know. Fukasaku replied before being interrupted by a knock and Shizen peeking her head in. Lady Tsunade, Jiraiya and Kakashi are both here. Thank you, Shizen, send them in. Tsunade said and then instructed Naruto to stand beside her. Naruto watched as his two former, and nominal, sensei entered the room. Kakashi visible eye was devoid of emotion. Jiraiya's eyes showed a barely restrained anger but then shock when he saw Fukasaku there. With the briefest of nods from the two, Tsunade spoke. Tonight the Akatsuki made a move on the Kazekage. What happened? We need to scramble a team, replied Kakashi. No need, the situation has been resolved thanks to this Chunin here. How is that possible? Suna is 3 days away. I guess he's his father's son. Nah, don't be so cryptic, Bachan. Naruto said. After an intense moment of silence, Jiraiya spoke. How? Or why? The how is luck, the why is because you needed to live with the consequences of your actions, Jiraiya, replied Fukasaku. So you allow me to believe my godson is dead? All the years I've been your summoner, and you do this? Tsunade is a spiteful bitch, but Jiraiya wasn't allowed to finish as he had to block Naruto's left hook. You watch your goddamn mouth. At least Tsunade gave a shit. At least she provided guidance instead of treating me like an abject failure, Naruto said as Jiraiya released his fist. Naruto, no. Look, whatever you may feel about what Sensei and Tsunade did, they helped me when I was at my lowest. You two, I don't know. I wasn't an ideal student, I can admit that, but I deserved better. If nothing else, I know that much. I didn't need either of you to be the greatest sensei, just a little better. To give half a damn instead of negatively comparing me to a legacy I didn't even know about. I suddenly find myself tired. May I be dismissed? Yes, that's fine, but be back here tomorrow. I need to schedule an assessment for you and then go over that intel from Sasori. Hi, Naruto said before disappearing via his vacuum shunshin. Damn it, I need to go talk to Naruto. You haven't been dismissed yet, Jiraiya. We still have things to discuss and you can speak to Naruto after, if he so desires. What is there to talk about? How you both turned Naruto against me? The kind boy I knew would never be okay with what you did. However Naruto feels about what we did he can tell you himself. He's an adult, and will speak for himself. I want to inform you about his activities in Suna tonight. Training ground 7 noon. Naruto was informed of where his assessment would take place via messenger bird and was thankful Tsunade saved him a trip. He assumed his assessment would be against Kakashi and decided to mentally prepare to face the man, trying to recall any tendencies he showed during his tenure as Jounin captain. After some meditation, which was interrupted by Kurama being an ass and some light warm-up exercises, Naruto headed over to the training ground, wearing the same style uniform he was wearing the night before. When Naruto appeared on the training ground he was surprised to see Kakashi already there along with Jiraiya. He expected Tsunade and Shizen to be there and gave them a warm welcome before the assessment started. The rules are simple, this is a full-on spar. Only killing and maiming are prohibited. Are the two combatants ready? Seeing nods, Tsunade announced the start. Okay, Naruto, Lesson 1 Taijutsu. Kakashi said as he closed the distance between the two and uncovered his Sharingan. Oh, so you do speak. I thought you had apathy-induced mutism. Naruto said as he slipped into a loose stance and awaited Kakashi's opening attack. Kakashi opened with a standing side kick, looking to maximize his reach advantage. Naruto rotated away from the kick, facing the back of Kakashi's leg and immediately drove an elbow into Kakashi's knee joint. Kakashi winced but recovered, tapping his leg on the ground to shake off the pain. Moving slightly slower, Kakashi opts for a punching combination, throwing a series of quick jabs and straights, none landing flush and most blocked or dodged. However, sensing an opening, Kakashi throws a right cross but misses. Naruto rewards his effort with quick strikes to Kakashi elbow joint and the same knee Naruto attacked earlier. Deciding to press the attack, Naruto throws a series of body blows close into Kakashi guard. While Kakashi was able to get his guard up for most of the punches, one did manage to hit him in the solar plexus and caused Kakashi to try and create some distance, but before he could he felt Naruto grab his flak jacket and try to pull Kakashi hard to his, Naruto's left. Kakashi instinctively pulled to the right but was caught off guard when Naruto immediately let go of him and was already aiming a right high kick to Kakashi's jawline. Kakashi managed to block the kick but was left unstable due to the bad positioning and the force of the kick. Kakashi tried to predict where the next attack was coming from and assumed Naruto would follow up with strike to the opposite side of Kakashi's face. He was surprised when he saw Naruto dropping to his knees. Before he could react, Naruto had delivered 3 strikes, a left to the interior of his right knee, a right to the interior of his left, and a left to the outside of his right knee. Naruto tried to follow up with a fireman's carry takedown, but Kakashi replaced himself with a log. Interesting. He's mixing some of Minato's style, the joint attacks, with the grapples from the advanced forms of the Gamma style, Jiraiya said, impressed that Naruto was able to, at least momentarily, get the better of Kakashi and knows the Cyclops has to be hurting. Kakashi was, in fact, hurting and was attempting to get his full mobility back as his right knee in particular was starting to lock up on him. He too was impressed with Naruto's taijutsu, a style that can suffocate almost any style and punish mistakes. He decided it was time to transition to ninjutsu and play to his greatest advantage. Kakashi made his way back to the clearing prepared to school his student, only to be caught in some sticky pink substance. Before he could figure out what it was he felt a curved knife's blade on his throat. Still looking ahead he saw the Naruto in front of him dispel and the one in perfect position to slit his throat chuckled. Toad Mouth Bind is such an awesome jutsu and leaves no evidence. When? The one you were facing was always a shadow clone. Tsunade-sama said it was an assessment, she never said what kind. I think demonstrating I could kill an elite jounin with 2 ninjutsu and some taijutsu speaks better to my abilities as a shinobi than exchanging ninjutsu with you like an asshole. I'd have to agree, spoke Tsunade. That was quite the show. Minimalist but effective. Thank you, Bachan. So am I cleared to return to duty? Yes, meet me in my office in an hour so we can discuss the Sasori issue, Hi Naruto said as he released the summon jutsu. As Naruto was about to depart, Jiraiya called out to him, causing him to stop. Yes, Jiraiya? Kid, we need to talk. I know I have a lot to make up for and I want to. You don't owe me anything, Jiraiya. I'm no longer your apprentice, so you're under no obligation to teach me anything, either of you are. My time as a student is over, I'll be guiding my own development from here on out. Naruto, I know we both let you down, but at least give us a chance to make things up to you. Stated Kakashi, only to see Naruto shake his head. I'm not the same, so trying to return back to how things were just isn't an option. We can try to build something new, but it won't be easy. I don't hate either of you, even knowing how close you were to my parents, but I am angry. However, since either of you seem to acknowledge that connection, I won't hold you to it. Which means, I can't acknowledge you as my godfather, Jiraiya. You two also failed me as sensei, and as I said, I have no interest in being a student any longer. I can accept that, replied Kakashi. Which didn't surprise Naruto, assuming Kakashi would take the path of least resistance anyway. I can't and I won't, exclaimed Jiraiya. I don't see how you have a choice. Naruto shot back. I just won't accept it, Naruto. I can't allow you to write me off. That's more than a little hypocritical, don't you think? I don't care. I almost lost you once, I won't do it again. That's your problem. I told you where I am and I won't be bullied into something else because it's what you want. I'll see you around, Naruto said before departing by way of his vacuum shunshin. I'm going to have to get him to teach me that. Is that really all you have to say? What? It's cool. Cool is kinda my thing. So is laziness. Don't think Naruto was fooled by your acceptance. He knows you're a lazy ass just like everyone else. Maybe not, but it'll have greater results than the bull in a china shop routine you're pulling. I would love to be a proper sensei to Naruto, but he's not the boy that left. He's not a boy at all. He's requesting that we respect him as a man. The person I fought, the person who could have slit my throat and hid the body is worthy of such a request. It isn't about respect. That's where you're wrong, Jiraiya. It has always been about that. We didn't respect him, not as a student, or a comrade, so he had to go elsewhere to unlock his potential. Acknowledgement and respect has always been his aim. What hope does he have if even we can't see fit to do so? He still needs us. The Akatsuki isn't going to wait for him to find himself. God, is this what talking to me feels like? You have your head firmly up your ass, Jiraiya. You saw the report, we'll likely get confirmation in a day or two. Naruto has already faced the Akatsuki and now 2 of them are dead. He didn't do that by himself, and Konoha Nin work in teams. Whatever is driving you to ignore this, you should stop or you'll push him away for good, Kakashi said before departing himself, leaving Jiraiya alone on the training grounds. Naruto returned to his apartment, deciding to grab a shower and a change of clothes before wandering around the village until his meeting with Tsunade. Instead of his all-blue uniform with face mask and bandana to match, Naruto opted for black A&BU pants and shinobi sandals with kunai holster on his right thigh. His shirt is also black, with long sleeves and red Uzumaki swirl on the sleeves where Naruto's biceps would be. The shirt is a V-neck and shows just a hint of the mesh armor he has underneath. Naruto finishes with his specialized Chunin vest that has a compartments in the back for his ninjato, which is carried diagonally across Naruto's back, and also his twin kukuri knives he keeps at the small of his back, handles facing down. Naruto then grabs his black hattai Irika gave him and heads out. During Naruto's walk across the village, he notices a lot more people smile and greet him than they used to. Even as things started to improve after the Tsunodo invasion, it hadn't been to this extent. Not that he minds, but it wasn't what he had been expecting. Even people who used to go out of their way to ignore him spoke and were cordial. As disciplined as Naruto had become, he couldn't fight back the 1,000-watt smile adorned across his face as he felt the village's acceptance for the first time. Naruto? He heard a voice call out and turned to see Kiba and Shino walking toward him. Hey guys, how's it been? Naruto asked. Awesome, getting stronger. We're all Chunin now, isn't that awesome? Niji team is even a Jounin. That's great. How have you been, Shino, and where is Hinata? I have been fine. Uzumaki-san and Hinata stepped inside that alleyway just a moment ago. Oh, well, I should go say hi. Hey, maybe we all can catch up later tonight. I'd like to see how everyone's been doing since I left. I'll round up the gang and we'll figure something out, said Kiba, and Naruto shot him a wave as he headed toward the alley and Hinata, which he finds her about to hyperventilate. Hinata, are you okay? Naruto asked, but doesn't invade her personal space like he would have done in the past, opting to sit beside her instead. I'm fine, and Naruto-kun, you sure? I can go get Kiba or Shino if you aren't feeling well. And no, I'm sure, but thank you. No problem, I'll always help a friend out, Naruto said, which caused the girl's face to become red. So, how have you been, Hinata? Training hard? Hi. Niji Nizan has been helping me with my gentle fist, and Kakashi-sensei has helped me learn my elemental affinities. Cool, what are they? Fire and lightning. Does that mean you're secretly super aggressive? Naruto asked, which caused Hinata to giggle. I don't think so, but one can never tell. Ah, true. I'll have to keep my eye on you then. Gomen, I think you'll find you require both. Oh, I guess I'll have to wait and see. Well, I have to meet Bachan, so I'll see you hopefully tonight. Hi, later, Naruto-kun. Bye, Hinata-chan. Naruto said and then disappeared using his trademark shunshin, not realizing what adding the affectionate honorific would do to the poor girl, namely making her face do a credible impression of a tomato before she passed out. Luckily she was promptly retrieved from Shino, who had been monitoring the interaction, and started to carry her home with Kiba. Did Naruto feel different to you, Shino? Yes, my Kakachu informed me that while his chakra reserves have grown even more vast, his flow isn't chaotic like it once was. He's at the very least grown stronger. Good, he owes me a fight and I don't want a boring scrap. Bad enough he's taller than me now. I won't lose at anything else, whatever you say, shorty. Naruto was making his way up the final stretch to the Hokage Tower when he felt the chakra signature approaching, though he couldn't feel an ill intent. Turning to meet the person, he found a pair of soft lips meet his own and arms around his neck. Acting on instinct, he wrapped his arms around the figure until she pulled away. Thank you, Naruto, she said while still hugging him, and once his brain started working again he realized it was Temari, Gaara's sister. You don't have to thank you, I really didn't do much. That's not what Gaara wrote me, Naruto. Don't be so modest, Naruto-kun, Temari said after releasing Naruto. It really wasn't much, I was just happy to help a friend, that's all. Still you have my thanks. You're welcome, Temari-chan, and I'm sorry I have to cut this short, but if I'm late I'm sure Ba-chan will kill me. Okay, talk to you later, she said, and he waved as he ran the rest of the way to the tower. Once he made it to the floor he got a quick greeting and hug from Shizen before stepping into Tsunade's office and seeing both Tsunade and Sakura sporting looks he didn't at all, even if they were the polar opposite. So glad you could join us, Naruto-kun, Tsunade said, which Naruto found odd. She never calls him kun. Sorry, I was on my way here and I kept running into people and catching up. Yeah, too busy flirting with everyone to get here. What do you mean flirting? I didn't flirt with anyone, and how while you were watching me through Gigi's pervert ball? Don't change the subject, Naruto. What's the big idea, kissing Temari? Are you leading poor Hinata on? What are you talking about? I said hi to Hinata because she's my friend and Temari kissed me. You sure didn't fight her off. I didn't know I was supposed to. Why are you acting like a jealous girlfriend, Sakura-chan? I'm not that late, and I've already apologized. Do you just enjoy being mad at me? Shut up, Naruto, Sakura said as she lifted her fist to hit him before she was stopped. Sakura, you stop that right this instant, Tsunade commanded of her apprentice. Gomen, Tsunade-sama. You really should apologize to Naruto, but that, and his nascent harem will have to wait, Tsunade said, causing Sakura to sputter and Naruto to blush while scratching the back of his head. Before she could say any more, two parties arrived in her office through Shunshin. It was Kakashi, and someone they had never met before. I'll save the introductions for later. Right now we need to discuss Sasori's mole with Orochimaru, and the possibility of getting Sasuke Uchiha back. I expect you four to be preparing for this mission until you leave in 2 weeks. Now let's get into some specifics. Naruto. The blonde heard the shout as he entered Yakiniku-Q and saw all the rookies in attendance, along with the Jounin sensei sitting at a separate table, even Kakashi. Hey guys, the blonde greeted while taking his seat. Naruto-kun, you look youthful. How was your training trip? We must start soon. Thanks, Lee. You all look stronger as well. The training trip was productive, learned a lot, but I'm happy to be back. Yeah, I bet, Sakura muttered. Did you say something, Sakura-chan? No, nothing at all, Naruto. Anyway, so what all did you learn from Jiraiya, Naruto? Asked Chuji. Not much, honestly. He only trained me for the first 6 months, but his teaching style and my learning style weren't meshing, so I trained with the elder Toad Fukasaka-sensei and the Toad clan instead. It was great. And what did you learn from the Toads? Inquired Ino, which caused Naruto to look around and then wave for everyone to get closer. Looking around once more, Naruto finally spoke, relieving them of their anticipation. Things, he said, which caused everyone at the table to form a sweat drop while he laughed at their reactions. Guys, I'm a ninja, I can't reveal everything. Let's just say I learned a lot, and am the better for it. Besides, that's enough about me. Tell what you've all been up to. At another table, the Jounin sensei half listened to their students catch up with the Uzumaki. So, Kakashi, how did his assessment go? Asked Asuma, who has always had an interest in the blonde given his father's attachment to him. Well, he beat me, so I'd say it went well. That's amazing and a little hard to believe, added Kurenai. How did he beat you? Simple really, he had better tactics and a very effective taijutsu style. Had me fight a shadow clone, which I had assumed was the real Naruto. He set a trap and put a knife to my throat. It was a short assessment. Impressive, but I assume you want to know more of his skill set, said Asuma. Yes, and I'm sure he'll tell me. We have a mission to prep for, so I doubt he'll be too withholding. I think he just wanted to prove a point, that he wasn't the same knucklehead and won't be treated as such. How youthful of Naruto-kun to have him best you. I will have Lee and Niji best me by month's end, or everyone tuned the man out until he was finished. Back at the rookies' table, the group had finished filling Naruto in on their previous 3 years before the table slipped into silence. Naruto could feel they wanted to bring something up but figured he wouldn't push them. Shino, seeing no logic in the continued avoidance, spoke. Naruto-san, I believe you know that your burden is no longer a secret, yes? Yeah, Bachan told me she rescinded Gigi's law. While it came as a shock, I want to assure you that what you contain has no bearing on how I or the others view you," he said as the others nodded and added words of agreement. "Thanks, Shino. Although I do think there should be an asterisk on your win in the Chunin finals," replied Niji. "Oh, is the bloodline user going to complain about unfair advantages? Or are you just in a hurry for me to kick your ass again? I'd hardly call that match an ass kicking, even if my jaw hurt for a week afterward. Besides, without the motivation provided by Hinata-sama, I doubt you'll be able to do much more than be my punching bag," Niji said, causing Hinata to blush faintly. "Okay, enough you two. But Naruto, I am curious, how good are you with that sword?" asked Tenten. "I only really have the Toad Kenjutsu Master to compare myself with, so really I don't know. After I tune up your boyfriend we can go a couple of rounds too." "Shut up team / quiet Uzumaki / how youthful," was the replies of Team 9 as everyone else laughed at their reactions. Dinner lasted for a while longer before Naruto excused himself for the night. "Where are you going, Baka?" "We came here for you," Sakura admonished, to the confusion of everyone. "I have to go see someone I haven't spoken to in a while." "I'll see you tomorrow, Sakura-chan." "Good night, guys," Naruto said as he departed from the restaurant. Taking to the rooftops of Konoha, Naruto sped to one of the few places he could always find peace in Konoha, his hurried pace and destination catching the eyes of a few residents. "Hey old man. I know we haven't spoken in a while. Things have been good, better than good actually. They finally accept me, Gigi, just like you said they would. I sometimes wondered if they ever would, or if I could ever truly show them I'm not just a reminder of tragic events or a danger, but they do." Naruto paused to wipe some tears away from his eyes. "I wish you were here to see it. I think you deserve to have your faith rewarded, not only in them but me as well. I wish you could see I'm not the knucklehead screw-up I used to be. But if nothing else, know the village is in good hands, the will of fire still burns strongly. I think I'm done, Temari-chan, if there is something you'd like to add," he said, patting the spot next to himself in invitation. "No, I'm sorry to intrude, I saw you running and got concerned," she said, taking a seat. "Oh, thanks, but no, everything has been great. Almost surreal?" she finished. "Yeah, exactly. It's like you hope for something for so long, and once you get it the reality can be a bit overwhelming. I guess I'm just being dumb." "No, you aren't. When the villagers started treating Gaara differently, it was an adjustment for him as well. It took Kankuro and I months to finally figure out the problem." "What was it?" asked Naruto, not finding it in himself to meet her gaze, which is why he didn't see what was coming next. Temari wrapped him in a hug and said, "You deserve this, Naruto. You deserve to walk around and not be glared at or completely ignored. What the villagers did, you didn't deserve that. I know the—" "No, you don't." "Well, you know it in your head, but in your heart? How could you? Most of your life you were treated one way, how could you not internalize it even if you fought against it? But don't worry, you have people who will remind you that you deserve this in case you're ever unsure." Naruto relaxed into the hug and enjoyed the reassurance from his newest friend. In a darkened cave, 7 holographic figures emerge. None looked too happy. "Kakuzu, report," bellowed the leader. "It was a setup. We thought the Two Tails container was alone, but 3 squads of Kumo A and B were lying in wait. They got hidden and I lost 2 hearts, but not before taking out half of them. This is a problem. Both Deidara and Sasori were killed in Suna, and we have very little to go on besides a mystery figure aided the one tail. Itachi, Kisame, you will both return to AIM. We need to rethink things and swell our numbers." All but Tobi are dismissed. "Hi, Leader-sama," they said. "This is a problem, Madara. I'm aware, and it isn't like S-class shinobi grow on trees. I'm thinking it's time to bring Orochimaru back. Itachi and he could never work together long before one killed the other," replied Pain. "Yes, but they both have something in common. Or someone. If we hold the brother hostage, we can pull the strings of both until they've served their purposes. And how will you find the snake?" Zetsu was aware of a spy Sasori had, one he made periodic contact with. "A scheduled meet is approaching. I'll shadow the spy back to Orochimaru and snatch the little Uchiha. Orochimaru will either submit or die." The next morning found Naruto in the shinobi archives. Thinking over the upcoming mission, Naruto wanted to prepare should the meet be a trap and Orochimaru appears. His walkover had him cataloging what he knew of the snake Sannin, even if it wasn't much. Naruto realized that he utilized Futon and Doton Jutsu along with his Hibi techniques, and while Naruto was confident he had developed his vacuum manipulation to the point he could overpower Orochimaru's wind release, the snake would have the edge as far as experience went. His Suipan Jutsu would also be neutralized by Doton, so it left Naruto in the position of choosing a new element to develop. While Doton would be useful to know, it'd leave him in a similar position of dueling affinities. Kakashi was a master of right, and so Naruto wielding an inferior version of the element would just be a waste of chakra. This is why Naruto settled on Katon, highly offensive as well as effective at guiding enemies into traps. He could also amplify his fire jutsu with wind from a clone to make up for the lack of experience. So, Naruto decided to get sources on training fire chakra and a few jutsu once the exercises were complete. While Naruto could try to learn several katon with his clones, he'd rather choose 3 and then discover multiple ways to manipulate the jutsu, making them faster or larger or other alterations to suit his needs. An overall increase in his jutsu library can come later, as this was part of a contingency plan. Naruto checked out his items and made his way over to the training field, surprised to see all 3 of his team members present, even Kakashi. "You're late, Naruto," Sakura said irately. "Sorry, I had to get some things from the library, and I honestly didn't expect Kakashi Taicho to be here yet." "It won't happen again. Why aren't you calling him sensei?" "I don't see how that concerns you, Sakura-chan. Leave what's between Kakashi and I to us." "Alright, now that we have that cleared up, as Tsunade-sama explained, our mission is to meet and apprehend Orochimaru's spy to get intelligence on the whereabouts of Sasuke. This could be a trap set by Orochimaru, so we have to be prepared to extract ourselves if need be, and also prepared to fight and detain Sasuke should he be there. Our preparations will be in drilling you both in the tactics and skills required to incapacitate and transport a hostile captive. Before we begin, are either of you going to have any problems fighting Sasuke should he be there? Seeing as we may have to kill him, I'm not looking forward to it, but I'll perform my duty." "And Naruto, you can't mean that." "I can and I do. Sasuke chose to leave. My attempt to appeal to friends resulted in him breaking my neck and impaling me with a Chidori twice. He's not only a risk, but allowing Orochimaru to steal his body is an even bigger risk. Sasuke isn't more important than Konoha. Someone fortunate enough to work with the Hokage should know that much. It isn't that simple, Naruto. Say that when he crams a lighting fist in your chest. Maybe your tears can stop him this time." "I think we need to calm down," replied Yamato. "No, let them have it out. Better to get it over with now than sit on it. I know I didn't do enough then. I know I left it all to you. Don't you think I feel bad about it?" "No. How would I know? You just yell at me or have snarky comments. Since I've gotten back you've been acting like you're mad at me. How could I not be? 3 years. You were gone for 3 years and never sent word. You wrote to Shizen and Tsunade. They don't know I knew, but I do. Then you come back and you have time for everyone else, but you didn't even tell me you were back. Why would I write you? For every instance you've been nice to me I can name 10 where you weren't. How was I supposed to know you wanted to hear from me? Within 5 minutes of seeing me you were about to hit me. That's not what friends do. You were ignoring me. What the shit, you aren't my girlfriend, Sakura-chan. I don't have to make you a priority over others. So that's it? Just to hell with me, to hell with Sasuke? You just don't care? That's rich coming from you. Ah! Sakura yelled as she charged Naruto with a feral left he managed to slap out of the way, which she deftly used the momentum to transition into a spin kick that Naruto dodged by leaning back. Undeterred, she continued her assault. When Tsunade told me about your burden I felt so guilty. I know I haven't always been nice or supportive toward you. I was afraid that with some time away you wouldn't want to be my friend anymore. She said through her attack. Then you get back and you don't even care. You treat me like I'm everyone else. I think I treat everyone else pretty fucking swell, Sakura-chan. But you always treated me better, damn it. I didn't want that to change. Attacking me like a crazy person is surely the way to go. Shut up. You come back a different person and now what? I'm nothing to you? Sakura-chan, there is nothing in the way I've treated you that could lead you to believe I see you as nothing. You're my friend, but I'm not so desperate for friendship that I'll allow you to walk all over me or berate me like you used to. Now stop this. No, not until I slug you one. I'm not some useless fangirl and I won't be dismissed. Having enough of her assault, Naruto shoots in for a double leg takedown and immediately sits on her stomach, holding her hands to her chest. Let me go, Naruto, not until you calm down. Sakura-chan, I'm right here. There's nothing to be mad about or scared of. You're still my friend, Databale. You're wrong, things are different. Of course, we're older now, things had to change. To the point you'd kill Sasuke? Yes, the world doesn't revolve around him. He made a choice and we can't keep him at the center of our universe. He didn't care enough to stay, then fuck him. I don't want to kill him. I'd happily bring him back here alive, but be realistic. He'll likely be executed for his betrayal regardless. Not if you defend him. Tsunade sure would listen to you. I'm not using my connection with her like that. Sasuke fleeing could have been a blunder for her. I'm supposed to ask her to ignore that? Sakura-chan, the Sasuke we knew might be gone. I won't let you kill yourself trying to prove otherwise. You have value outside of Sasuke, you matter. I guess you're right. She said, but possibly out of emotional exhaustion than true agreement. Seeing that she's calmed down, Naruto rolls to the side of her, only to be immediately engulfed in a hug with Sakura crying and apologizing. As Naruto was trying to reassure the girl, he missed the 2 senior members of the team signing something. Tsundere? Signed Yamato. With her you can't tell. Kakashi signed back. Their issues somewhat resolved, the team continued to prepare for their mission and managed to achieve a solid amount of cohesion. It was time and Kakashi was certain his team was ready. Although he had noticed Naruto's shifting facial expressions as they moved towards the meet. Naruto, what's wrong? I'm getting something and it feels familiar, but it keeps flicking on and off. Anything else? We're not within my sensor range. I'm still training it, but we should be shortly. Alright, let's keep our rate of travel steady and our senses sharp, Kakashi ordered. About 10 minutes later they were within Naruto's range, and what he sensed alarmed him. Kakashi Taicho, there is a battle going on up ahead. That thing I was feeling is now tied to a chakra signature, but it isn't steady, it comes and goes. Naruto said, but was concerned when he felt Kurama stir. It's him, Naruto. The one who ripped me from Kushina, the one who started it all. Kurama growled. Naruto, faced with this fact, felt his control slip, a burning hatred he'd never known welling up inside of him. He had manifested 3 tails before any of the team could respond. Kakashi tried to call out to him, but his former student was gone in an orange flash before he could ever speak. Tobi had been enjoying torturing the snake Sannin for the location of Sasuke. He could have brought Setsu along but decided it'd be more fun to kill the unkillable shinobi. He had to admit, Orochimaru knew a lot of impressive jutsu for getting himself out of trouble, and if not for Kamui, Tobi might actually be in a bit of trouble. Unfortunately, like all games, this had eventually become stale, and as he was reaching down to grab the broken and defeated Sannin, he felt a sudden pain in his chest. His heart instantly obliterated, his partial Zetsu body giving him enough durability to realize it while his famed bloodline got to see a vermilion Rasengan sticking out of his chest. Kukuku, good timing, Naruto-kun. After killing the murderer of your parents, the last thing you want is to hear the laughter of the man that killed your grandfather. Intent on shutting the snake up, Naruto swiftly removed his hand from Madara's corpse, formed a Rasengan in the opposite hand and drove it down into the snake, only to hit along instead. Why in such a rush, Naruto-kun? It's been ages since we've seen each other. In that much of a hurry to get to Sasuke-kun? Impress me and I might just take you to him. He's really full of it. He was on death's door when we got here. Yeah, Kurama, he's trying to stall or force me to make a mistake. Kakashi, Yamato and Sakura-chan are finally here, so if I keep his attention long enough they can handle Sasuke. I'd likely kill him right now if he didn't surrender. I see no problem with that. Well, you'd be in the minority on that one. Besides, you already got the Uchiha, I promise you. Hopefully Kakashi will press on without me, Naruto thought, and then created 2 shadow clones that immediately went on the attack. Kakashi, seeing his student hold off the snake Sannin, summoned Pakken to pick up any hint of Sasuke or a scent trail leading away from Orochimaru. When the Nikken confirmed he had one of each, the 3 ninja departed with the small dog. Orochimaru saw the others run in the direction of his base but was being pressed by the Jinchuriki's clones, cursing that he had used so much chakra to fight the Akatsuki member in an already deteriorating body. Finding Orochimaru's base hadn't been a problem, either had entry, and that was starting to concern the veteran shinobi who were both familiar with how twisted the Sannin could be. As they continued deeper into the hideout, they continued to not run into any obstacles or enemy combatants, and Pakken eventually lead them to a large room, one that just so happened to have Sasuke overlooking them from a balcony. Kakashi, what are you doing here? Shopping for groceries. Fool, what do you think I'm doing here? Matter of fact, just come on, Sasuke. You've had your moment of teenage rebellion. It was all so very hip and edgy, but it's over now. Come back so we can work things out. Ha, what makes you think you can force me back? I won't return to that weak place. I will have my revenge. God, Kakashi-senpai, was he always like this? Sometimes, he mostly just pouted a lot. I will not be mocked by you, Kakashi. And who is that? Why isn't the dobe here? Go and get himself killed? Sasuke-kun. Naruto's been batting S-rank shinobi around like they were fresh genin. You honestly rate too low to receive his attention. Liar! Sasuke said as he flared his Sharingan. Oh, so can you think of another reason Orochimaru isn't here or how we got past him? Fine then, when I'm done here I'll go teach that idiot who's best once again. Sasuke-kun, don't expect Naruto to throw the fight like last time. What are you talking about? I thought people said he was a genius, Kakashi-senpai. Yamato stated. Yeah, they throw that label around like cheap candy now. In my day, you actually had to do something of note to be considered a genius. Stop ignoring me. What do you mean Naruto let me win? Exactly what I said. Do you think it was a lack of skill that Naruto's Rasengan managed to hit you in the only place that wouldn't hurt you? You can't be that arrogant, can you? He held back and it still took everything you had to beat him. So, be smart, come with us before Naruto gets here and hurts you. If the dobe is really that strong, then let's how hard he fights. When Sasuke said before performing a shunshin toward Sakura. I killed the love of his life, he said, drawing his Chikudo aiming to stab Sakura. Sakura managed to predict the path of Sasuke's shunshin and immediately grabbed a capsule out of her hustler. She crushed it, turning towards Sasuke as he was prepare his attack and threw the contents of the cracked capsule in his face. Sasuke halted his attack, choking on the powder substance before dropping to the ground, passed out. I can't believe that worked, said Yamato. I don't know why. I'm sure Sasuke's entire plan was to attack us with power, and if that failed, more power. The boy has talent, but he's so easy to manipulate. Which one of you has the scroll? I do, replied Sakura, sullenly finding it hard to accept Sasuke had tried to kill her as Kakashi predicted. She sealed Sasuke in the prisoner containment scrolls and the group decided to vacate and check on Naruto rather than investigate the hideout further. Orochimaru was, frankly, sick of this bullshit day. First, some one-eyed Uchiha played with him, and now Jiraiya's idiot apprentice is doing the same. The 2 clones attack in tandem, either leaving large enough openings long enough for the Sannin to dispel them. When they get the better of the exchanges they don't press the attack, forcing him to either waste chakra on a jutsu or his stamina closing the distance to attack. Due to their superior numbers, His attacking leaves him open for a counter, and even his Hebe style can be overwhelmed by a fast and disciplined opponent. When he manages to substitute with a mud clone that he assumes, real Naruto performs a wind jutsu to his new location, thereby alerting the copies where to focus their own attacks. Orochimaru read through the tactics and had to admit there was a certain amount of genius in its simplicity. For a child known for stamina and spamming clones, this style was perfect. He was content with accumulating damage to his opponent over time, allowing even a superior fighter to exhaust themselves or make a life-ending mistake. By never being overly aggressive, his opponents either chose to fight or flee, and most shinobi won't flee from someone they deem beneath them, even if they are being presented with evidence to the contrary. By staying in the medium distance, it encourages someone to either waste chakra on a jutsu, time with a kunai attack, that his wind manipulation will make useless, or physical energy pressing the attack. By the time you realize fleeing was your best option, you may be too wounded, too tired and too enraged to do so effectively, and Orochimaru knew the former two categories fit him perfectly. If he tried to run, the Jinchuriki could just track him down, having revealed very little of his skills. In a last-ditch effort to escape and hopefully kill the pestilence, recently upgraded from annoyance, Orochimaru performed the formation of 10,000 snakes. "Are you fucking kidding me?" asked Naruto. "And they have swords in their mouths," said a clone. "Ugh, whatever. Light 'em up, boys," Naruto said before performing the wind-style pressure damage while his clones performed the fire-style Great Dragon Fire Jutsu, deftly roasting most of the snakes but not all. The trio then blurred through a series of hand seals to perform a triple water-style water colliding wave, managing to remove what was left of the snakes, and while it didn't take long, dismissing the wave of snakes allowed Orochimaru to flee. Fortunately, Naruto felt his team returning, so he dismissed Kurama's chakra and sealed the mystery Uchiha's remains while awaiting their arrival. Once the entire team was united, Naruto filled Kakashi in on what happened between Orochimaru and him. While Kakashi informed Naruto they were able to obtain Sasuke, the foursome then sped back to the village, wanting to see the end of this bothersome mission. It was the middle of the next day when they arrived back to Konoha. Tsunade thanked them for their work and began processing both Uchiha. Sakura was reluctant but felt she had to ask what was to happen to Sasuke. Tsunade took no pleasure in informing her apprentice that Sasuke would at best do a significant amount of time in prison and never be a shinobi again. Sakura, to her credit, took Tsunade's words in stride and exited the office along with Yamato. "Naruto, who was this mystery Uchiha?" asked Tsunade. "He was the one that attacked my parents and summoned the Kyuubi from her seal." "How do you know?" asked Kakashi. "Kurama told me, and the thing I was sensing was Dad's Hiraishin markers. It was how I was able to catch him off guard." "How do you feel?" asked Tsunade. "I don't know, numb mostly. If I killed him 100 times it wouldn't give me my parents, so while I can take comfort in the fact he can't harm anyone else, that's about all I'm left with." "Okay, you're dismissed. Kakashi, I want you to come with me when I do the autopsy. Maybe you'll know who this could be." "Hi." The rapid hard knocks were a surprise then to themselves, but the person responsible for them even more so. Dumbfounded, Ino invited her guest in. As the two took their seats, Ino waited for Sakura to say why she was there, but until she spoke, Ino paid attention to her body language. Sakura was distressed. Something happened and it appears she was deeply conflicted about it. "We got Sasuke-kun back," Sakura said lowly. "That's great, isn't it?" asked Ino. "I don't know. He tried to kill me when we found him, and not because he saw me as a threat but so he could hurt Naruto. Additionally, now that he's back he may be executed for treason. Maybe we were all better off just leaving him alone." "Sakura, you can't mean that." "Yes, I can. I wanted to save him, Ino, not lead him to his death. Maybe you and Naruto can convince Tsunade-sama to be lenient," Ino offered, only to hear a bitter, hollow laugh escape Sakura's lips. "Naruto won't lift a finger to help him. He was prepared to kill Sasuke-kun had he put up too much resistance." "That doesn't sound like the Naruto I know, and sure he's improved, but I doubt he'd be strong enough to just kill Sasuke." "You're wrong, you're very wrong. Had Naruto not valued Sasuke-kun during the initial retrieval mission, Sasuke-kun would already be dead." Kakashi-sensei said it himself. Naruto intentionally avoided harming Sasuke-kun in their last jutsu exchange. It's the only reason Sasuke-kun got away. And when we were nearing the bridge, Naruto sensed a battle. Apparently some Akatsuki member was fighting and beating Orochimaru. Naruto killed him with one move and speed I couldn't fathom. He then held Orochimaru off long enough for us to go get Sasuke and return. He's changed, Ino, they both have. How could he change so much in 3 years? Sasuke, I get he was headed down a dark path, but Naruto? Even with the Kyuubi that just doesn't seem possible. I think he always had the potential, he just never had a dedicated sensei to train him how he needed to be trained. I guess his time with the Toads was the first time he's gotten that, and now he's probably stronger than even Neji. And to think I wanted to improve, to not be left behind. How foolish. Naruto may be as strong as a Kage before he's 20, how am I supposed to keep up with that? I don't know, training I guess. I have. Tsunade Shusho and Shizen-sensei pushed me to my limits time and time again. I know I'm better than before Naruto left, but I'm not that. Well, you don't have a Bija in your belly, replied Ino. True, and if Kakashi-sensei hadn't told me about what Naruto did in Suna, I'd feel better about it. What did he do in Suna? He helped the Kazekage fight off 2 Akatsuki members, deflected a village-leveling jutsu before killing one. A shadow clone of his and Kankuro held off the other before Garasama showed up and killed him. Naruto didn't use the Kyuubi then. He's strong without it. Well, I guess you just have to get stronger. Keep breaking your limits until you don't have any, said Ino, trying to cheer her friend/rival up. I guess you're right, Sakura said with a hint of a smile. Come to gloat? The question was asked with a great deal of seething laced into every word. Why would I gloat? What about any of this merits that? Asked in genuine confusion. Because I'm finally knocked down a peg, because you kept your promise even if you didn't do anything. I don't think fighting a Sannin and your master counts as doing nothing, but I guess that's purely academic at this point. Someone's been hitting the books. Thank you for noticing. What do you want, Naruto? To ask if it was all worth it. Why does that matter? I guess ultimately it doesn't, but seeing as how this may very well be the last time we ever speak, I thought I'd ask. Do you regret any of it? I regret not killing you/you regret not killing me. So predictable, Sasuke. Well, that's it. Goodbye, Sasuke. No matter what happens, Naruto, I'll always have the knowledge that you've never beaten me. Hell, I could probably convince Sakura to break me out of here. Did you know she offered to leave with me? That's how little she cared about you. And how much she cared about me. I should have taken her with me and turned her into my little cum dump. I bet she would have let me put it anywhere. Sasuke had been expecting Naruto to react violently or look hurt. He did not expect to be laughed at. Don't you dare laugh at me. That might actually be threatening if you weren't in a cell with your chakra sealed. Actually, not really, but it'd at least be feasible. Sasuke, you're so sad. You had it, what you think Itachi took from you, but you had it. You had someone who loved you unconditionally, who would have given up everything just so you wouldn't lose yourself completely, but you were more committed to ghosts, not brave enough to connect with the living. You were really just a coward, and now there is a good chance you'll be someone's cum dump and they won't ask permission to put it anywhere. And Itachi? Who even knows what the hell he's doing, but it certainly isn't worrying about the great Avenger after his life. Goodbye, Sasuke. I hope you make peace with yourself. Eventually, Naruto said as he walked away. Naruto was deeply conflicted when he returned to his apartment. Sakura had made such a deal out of him changing and not treating her the same, but she would have left him without a second thought. How could she be so hypocritical? How could she be so callous? A part of him just wanted to put it to the side and not think about it, but time with the toads taught him that repressing his emotions didn't help matters, so he tried to work through them. He considered if Sasuke was lying, but reasoned it'd be a simple lie to uncover, as Sakura wasn't any better at lying than he was. So what was he to do? Truthfully, there was only so much he could do. Picking a fight with her over something she didn't do was pointless, but there was this feeling gnawing at him, a concern that Sakura had intended to use him when she couldn't have her tragic prince. Naruto spun the issue around in his mind a few times, but hadn't come to a conclusion when he heard a knock on his door. Oh, hey, Jiraiya? What's up? Come in, Naruto said, allowed the large man to enter his apartment. That's kid. I'll keep this brief. I need you to come with me for a few weeks. Jiraiya, I just got back. I'm not going on another mission unless it is important. It is important, and only you can help me with this. Ugh, this better not be a trick, Jiraiya, or I won't be happy. What's the mission? Have you heard of Neichinko? Inbu, exit the room. It will be sealed for the night. Do not enter unless it is an emergency. Tsunade ordered, and her honor guard obeyed, leaving her alone with Kakashi, as she activated the privacy seals, then going into a desk drawer and pulling out 2 bottles of sake, handing one to Kakashi. It'll either help or give the illusion of helping, and sometimes that's enough, she said, more tenderly than the blonde had spoken to Kakashi ever. I just don't understand, and I guess I never will, Kakashi said. When Tsunade informed him that the then unknown Uchiha was responsible for Minato's and Kushina's death, he took grim pleasure in knowing Naruto had dispatched the vile man. That feeling lasted as long as it took to remove his mask, and Kakashi could feel nothing. He wanted it to be a lie, even used his Sharingan to dispel the illusion, but it was all true. The person he had lived in tribute to, had mourned and constantly felt he failed, had been alive and killed his sensei and older sister figure. He caused so much pain which Naruto was forced to pay for. Kakashi felt broken and lost as Tsunade guided him back to her office. Who knows what could have happened between the time you thought he died and now? My advice is to not consider that man Yorobito. Yorobito died a hero. That man was some twisted creature that shares his face. Nothing more, nothing less, she said as she started to read over the letter accompanying a video on her desk and could only sigh in annoyance. Well, this isn't going to make your night any better, but you need to see this, Tsunade said as she set up the video to play. Both veteran shinobi watched Naruto talk to Sasuke from Sasuke's cell and were disappointed by much of it, but especially when Sasuke revealed Sakura had offered to go with him. Stupid girl, Tsunade muttered. So, what should we do? What can we do? She didn't leave with him, so while I'm beyond disappointed she'd give all that up for some boy, she didn't break any laws. She will be barred from seeing the Uchiha, though. I won't take the risk. I agree. Kakashi started, but was interrupted by the appearance of a messenger toad. Hello, Tsunade-sama. Jiraiya-sama wanted to inform you that Naruto and he have left the village, and he doesn't know when they'll return. It shouldn't be too long, however, the little toad said before it returned to its realm, leaving an irate Tsunade and a miffed Kakashi. How dare that idiot think he can just leave with Naruto without getting my approval? I wonder why Naruto would go in the first place. Knowing Jiraiya, he laid on some guilt trip about needing Naruto's help. If he gets that boy in trouble, I'm going to seriously punch him. None of those cute love taps I normally give him, she said, and Kakashi could tell she wasn't joking and thought hitting a grown man hard enough for temporary flight counted as a love tap. He really wanted to flee that office. The following morning had not treated Sakura well. She was deeply conflicted by Sasuke's actions to the point she hadn't slept well. Not that Ino's couch was all that comfortable. So, agitated, she hoped to get some measure of resolution from the Uchiha but was denied access. Quickly, losing her temper, she was going to punch the ANBU on standby. Consequences be damned until she was told to support to Lady Tsunade. Her day had only gotten worse from there. Given her decade-plus absence from the village, people may assume Tsunade has a soft definition of loyalty. That is not the case. An epic-s reaming is the only way to describe what Tsunade did to Sakura. For an hour the women tore into her apprentice and her obsession with the Uchiha. Sakura was berated for even considering abandoning the village for some limp dick boy that can't be standing up yet. Sakura, at first, took the dressing down as some part of her realized she had been prevented from defecting from a defector, but her acceptance of her own culpability grew thin and soon she fought back, levying accusation, calling Tsunade a hypocrite, and defended the thought of leaving the village to protect the one she loved instead of drinking her sorrows away. Sakura knew she had crossed the line after the words left her mouth. She tried to apologize but was immediately told to shut up. Tsunade then pointed out that only after a lifetime of service in which Sakura has watched the entirety of her family die and she still made revolutionary changes to the village or a branch of the shinobi arts did Sakura have the right to judge her. Certainly not in defense of some petty obsession with an emotionally withholding boy. Tsunade then stated that while she understood being tempted to do the wrong thing for a good reason, Sakura may have alienated what was left of her team, as they know she was willing to leave but can never know what she was truly intending to do. Were you really going to give up your family and your life for him? Tsunade asked. I don't know. I didn't know how else to stop him. I thought if I stayed with him long enough I could convince him to come back, or keep him from falling too far into the darkness. Bullshit. What? I said bullshit. If that were the case, then you would have gone along on the retrieval mission. You wouldn't have put the burden on bringing Sasuke back on Naruto's shoulders alone. One knockout blow is all it took for you to give up on trying? It was an impulse decision, desperate in every way. I don't know what you want me to say. I thought I loved Sasuke and I didn't see another way to help him. Would you free him if you knew he was going to be executed? I don't know. That's incredibly sad, Tsunade said. Kakashi had not had a pleasant night. Large amounts of alcohol and earth-shattering revelations will do that, he concluded. But like most nights turned sour by the devil's drink, the morning hadn't started out that great anyway. Kakashi knew there were any number of things he could do to handle Obito's fall from grace. Talk to a professional? Go drink some more? Get lost on the road of life, especially if the path is well maintained, and how no one has figured out Kakashi means he was sexing some dame yet confounds him. But Kakashi has deepened his appreciation of outright juvenile pettiness, so instead he chose to visit his latest failure. You look well, Sasuke-kun, Kakashi said without looking up from his book. Well, you look like shit. Yeah, well, I was fucking your mom. She didn't actually die, she just hated you. Loves the D though. Fuck you! Sasuke shouted, struggling against his restraints, eyes wide and filled with hate. No, I fuck her, you sit in a cell. For a genius, you're stupid, Kakashi said with an eye smile. Kakashi, shut the hell up before. Before what? Restrained, chakra suppressed, and staying in a drab jail cell. What are you going to do? What can you do? You couldn't even manage to kill one man, because you got in the way, retorted Sasuke. Sasuke-kun. You've had 3 years and you still haven't confronted him. At this point, we really should just assign Naruto a team and have him handle it. When I get out of here I'll enjoy killing Naruto, and you before I kill Itachi, Sasuke said, seething. The enraged Uchiha wanted nothing more than to show Kakashi the penalty for his disrespect. Kakashi let out a snort, amused by Sasuke's declaration. If by some miracle you escape punishment you really should run, Sasuke. Cling to your pathetic existence. Maybe you'll find Itachi and he'll take pity on you. Setting your sights on me is just looking for disappointment and for someone who doesn't handle their own inadequacies. Well, fighting Naruto would just mentally crush you. So you say, but adding a bit of muscle and a growth spurt won't save the dope. I'll end him with a Chidori, just like I should have done when I first escaped. I will get out of here. I will find him and I will kill Naruto Uzumaki for impeding me. What was that, Sasuke? Did you say something? Kakashi said and had to fight back the smile threatening to adorn his face. Seeing Sasuke become even more enraged, Kakashi considers his mission complete, and leaves without speaking again, wondering if he could find Guy since it was a good day for training. Inane, Zetsu had just informed Pain that Madara was most likely dead given the evidence at the location of his ambush. Zetsu pointed toward the significant amount of blood that was confirmed to be Madara's as well as organ tissue and bone fragments, implying impalement. After his report, Zetsu left, allowing Pain to speak with Conan about this shocking discovery. After accepting that Madara was, in all likelihood, dead, the pair started to consider their choices now that they were free from the legendary Uchiha. Do we really need the Bija anymore, Nagato? That was Madara's plan. Maybe we should come up with another, said Conan. I agree. If nothing else, sealing every Bija with our current numbers is untenable, but before we do anything we need to find Orochimaru. I find it hard to believe he killed Madara at all, let alone by himself. I'll inform Kakuzu to start collecting more bounties, and we'll have to figure something out for Itachi and Kisame, but these developments are most vexing. Indeed. I'll inform Zetsu to begin another search for Orochimaru. Good, I need time to think. Orochimaru was currently recovering at one of his many bases. The wayward Sannin was taking stock of all he had lost during his confrontation with the masked Uchiha. Not only was his body deteriorating faster due to the battle, but the damned Uchiha had teleported Kabuto someplace, and the Sannin had no idea how to find his second in command. While never becoming attached to any of his subordinates, Orochimaru wasn't Danzo and realized Kabuto's value. He would be difficult to replace. Orochimaru could not further his laments from his bed as his medic, Karen, had just brought him what he asked for. Orochimaru couldn't even work up the rage at being denied Sasuke's body for a second time, too tired and defeated to do so. While time was on his side, he had no doubt that Sasuke would be well guarded in Konoha and possibly executed, if he wasn't already. It was all around frustrating, but he couldn't dwell on his ambitions. He needed a new body, and he needed to go to ground. The Akatsuki was clearly intent on making moves against him, and he couldn't afford to rely on Naruto interfering again. The progress of the Jinchuriki amazed him, and once he got free of the Akatsuki, he resolved to look into the Uzumaki a little further. Now, however, he had a body to possess, and them fighting it is his favorite part. A month has passed since Jiraiya and Naruto left for Nadeshiko, and Naruto is relieved to be back home. Mostly to get away from Jiraiya. Once Naruto realized what Jiraiya needed help with, he was angry at the overgrown man-child but also disappointed in Jiraiya for manipulating him. He had been attempting it the entire trip, trying to reassert his status as Naruto's master, and showing how little regard he held for his former student. However, a mission is a mission, so Naruto decided to remain professional until its end. That newfound professionalism was challenged when he had to fight Shizuka, the leader of Nadeshiko, due to some nonsensical promise Jiraiya made. After the fight, which he won, Naruto got to know Shizuka better and the two connected. The pair shared several late-night talks about everything and nothing at all. She, too, struggled against the standards of her society, and wished to change them instead of holding firm to tradition. Naruto encouraged her to never give up her dream and wished her well in finding someone she could build a life with. The two soon made their way to Tsunade's office, and she looked everything but pleased, if her murderous glare was anything to go by. Jiraiya's report only worsened her mood. Tsunade then informed Naruto that she never cleared the mission to Nadeshiko, and through no fault of his own he could have been listed as AWOL and given missing nin status due to Jiraiya's stunt, while Jiraiya would have gotten off with no penalty as he hadn't broken any laws. That was the last straw, and the frustration Naruto had been repressing for a month finally unleashed itself. You selfish son of a bitch! How many times will you put my future at risk, Jiraiya? Kid, I knew you weren't going to lose, so there was no risk, and Tsunade wasn't going to mark you as a missing nin. It all worked out. Besides, didn't you like getting to know Shizuka? He said, wiggling his eyebrows. There are no guarantees, and I could have lost. I would have never become Hokage, and it would have been because of you. You wouldn't even give me enough information to prepare myself. It's bad enough you ignore my request to stop treating me like your student, but to trick me into some duel to settle an old score for you? I understand you only care about the prophecy, and absent it you wouldn't have anything to do with me, so let's just call it. I tried to get over your disregard, but you have no respect for me, so just stay away from me. Can I be dismissed? Yes, Naruto, you're dismissed, said Tsunade. After the blonde Chunin departed, the Sannin continued glaring at each other until Tsunade finally spoke. You happy? No, I didn't think he'd be this mad. It was supposed to be something fun, one of the adventures we would have gone on had his training trip worked out. No, you didn't think, you rarely do. Also, it didn't fall apart by some unknown means, Jiraiya. It was you, your actions caused you to miss out on time with your godson, and now you've pushed him too far. Congratulations. This wouldn't have happened if you hadn't hid him away for 2 years. 2 years to resent me and blame me for every minor fault. The old Naruto was forgiving to a fault. Yes, to a fault. I'm glad he holds people to standards now. He values himself. Anyone who truly cared for him would be elated at that development. I just wanted him to have one good memory of me before I left. Left to where? Where are you going? Me and the team are going to infiltrate AIM. We believe Akatsuki is stationed there. Why are you talking like you won't be coming back? Because there are no guarantees. I know I messed up with Naruto. I don't have any excuses, but it was never because I didn't care. Jiraiya, come back. He's changed, but I doubt he's written you off complete. Just be honest with him. No more of your shtick, just the truth. I knew you still cared, Haim, Jiraiya said before jumping out the window. Naruto was in a very familiar room, a room reminiscent of one of his last independent missions Fukasaku-sensei assigned him. Naruto, the blonde-haired, pink-eyed priestess, called out as she started to remove her robes, revealing her breasts. Help me continue my line, Naruto. No! He heard a shout, and as he turned he saw the silhouette of woman on a body of water under a full moon. Come dance with me, and Naruto-kun, the voice said in a cute stutter. You've dreamt about me for so long, but I'm so close, Naruto-kun. As Naruto approached the figure, he could see her hair was longer than the original. As he walked closer, he could start to make out more of her. Her pale skin, her indigo hair, the ample bosom covered by a lilac coat, and finally, lavender eyes. Hinata? He asked in shock. You've finally figured it out, Naruto-kun, she said with a giggle. She held out her hand in such a delicate yet commanding way. Naruto felt compelled to obey and placed his hand in hers. Instinctively he drew closer to Hinata, placing his free hand at the small of her back. She looked up at him, blushing cutely, and before he knew it his lips were drawing closer to hers, but right before the two could meet Naruto was blown away by a strong gust of wind. Naruto tumbled, seemingly having no control over his body but recognized the feeling of sand. When he was finally able to stop his movement, he took stock of his surroundings. He realized he was in a desert oasis. Standing atop a small pond was a battle fan, open fully. Soon, Temari stood up, her body still covered by the fan so only her head was showing but her hair was down. Why don't you come over here, Naruto? I won't mind you having a little peek, she said as she winked at her fellow blonde. Once again Naruto felt compelled to follow the command and walk toward the girl behind the fan. Slowly he progressed toward the Sunakunoichi, her knowing smile growing wider as the distance between the two decreased. The closer he got, the more the fan receded, giving him a clearer picture of what Temari was hiding. By the time he made it to her, the fan was just wide enough to cover her but revealed that she was stark naked. Well, what shall we do now, Naruto? She asked with an alluring smile. Naruto closed the last bit of distance between them and took the kunoichi's cheeks into his hand, pulling her closer to him only to once again be stifled by a strong gust of wind. The tumble this time was not as out of control, but that was only because someone else was there. When the pair stopped, Naruto was being mounted by Shizuka, who was wearing a loose-fitting midnight blue hiyori. They were in his bedroom, but the blonde didn't have much time to process his confusion. Shuka started to slowly grind on the jinchuriki before she began to speak. I think I'm owed a rematch, Naruto. Maybe we could even raise the stakes. Naruto couldn't finish as the pair were interrupted. I think Naruto would rather help me, isn't that right? Said Cheyenne. Wouldn't you rather dance with me, Naruto-kun? Added Hinata. I think he'd rather go back to the oasis. He was looking rather thirsty. Temari finished. Who will it be, knock? What asked Naruto. Who knock knock knock? Repeated Cheyenne. Knock 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 knock. Naruto knew who was banging on his door so rudely. Only one person displays this level of entitlement to his time and attention. While he wanted to ignore her and think about that weird dream of his, the constant pounding on his door wasn't going to end. Naruto got up from his couch and opened the door to greet his guest. What's wrong, Sakura-chan? Where were you? I got tricked into a non-mission by Jiraiya. Why, what's wrong? I need to talk to you. About what Sasuke said? About you willing to defect? Sure, come on in. This isn't funny, Naruto. You don't get to tell me how to act in my apartment, Sakura-chan, he said as he led her to his couch. You wanted to talk about it, so please do. Do you hate me, Naruto, for wanting to leave with Sasuke? No. That information would have hurt a lot before I left, but now it's just what it is. Sasuke was always more important to you than the team, especially more so than I was. So jealous? She asked, not knowing why she was being combative. No. I would have been in the past, but I've accepted you won't see me that way and I've managed to get over my crush. It was that easy? I don't know what you want from me, Sakura-chan. Was I supposed to only ever love you even if you never returned my feelings? Was I supposed to just be an emotional punching bag? You used to detest my immaturity and be enraged by my feelings for you, but now both have been solved and you're not happy. For me. What do you want? Things to go back to how they were, to be good again. Sasuke, to not be a traitor, you to not be pushing me away. I'm not the one doing the pushing, Sakura-chan. You're saying I am? Yes. You attacked me during our first team meeting for no reason. You always criticize me no matter what I do. It's like you need me to be a screw-up to make you feel better about yourself. A friend wouldn't do that. It's not like that, you just don't behave appropriately. Sakura insisted, balling up her fists. No, you just assume I can't do anything right. See, you just make me feel worse about myself, Naruto. I should be able to tell you if I don't like how you treat me. If I were Sasuke, you'd listen. Sakura was quickly losing her patience. She didn't come over here to talk about this. She wanted reassurance that Naruto understood why she offered to leave, or maybe even an offer to help her see Sasuke. You used to care about me, Naruto. Before you left, you would have been the first person to help me see Sasuke-kun. Now you're just so cold, and you don't care about the team anymore. The team that would have left me? That team? You say I don't care, but you're just mad you can't manipulate me like you used to. I actually have some self-worth now, and you don't like it. No, you're wrong. Sakura shouted. No, I'm not. You like being able to pick on me, insult me, and never have anyone admonish you for it. Sakura was furious, and truthfully she didn't know why. She realized this was like that day in Tsunade's office, and she should just leave, but she needed to lash out. Much of her self-esteem was tied to Naruto's treatment of her. It wasn't fair. In her more rational moments, she could admit that. Naruto had grown and matured, and a large part of her was happy for him, but losing the one member of the team that always valued her highly hurt. It made her feel less than. Just like she had no obligation to return Naruto's feelings, she had no right to expect his to never change. But it hurt. It was irrational and unfair, but it still hurt, and soon enough he'd find someone else while she'd be left. It was from this place Sakura spoke, her fear, her insecurities and her anger mixing into a cocktail of maliciousness. So what if I did? You were a loser. No one was going to ever like you as you were. You were lucky I let you around me, you socially awkward baka. And now because you've done some secret training you think you're better than me, that you don't need me? Fine then, I don't need you either. Sasuke left because of you. If you had been stronger you could have stopped him, and if you had stayed in your place he wouldn't have felt the need to leave. You ruin everything, you always screw up, and that will never change. You'll never be Hokage because no one will ever follow you, Naruto. No one respects you and all of the rookies just pity you. The only value the love of your life sees in you is a target in which to hurt me. Shut up, said Sakura. Not as a teammate, not as a girlfriend, not even as a human shield while he fled the village. 3 years of training under the Hokage, and he only sees your worth in relation to me. Why, you bastard? Sakura said as she pounced on Naruto from the other end of the couch, trying her best to hit the blonde but having her attempts stifled. I hate you, Naruto. I thought you were my friend but you never cared, she said, trying to free herself from his twin grips on her wrists. After all those things you said to me, they were hateful, Sakura, and you said them specifically to hurt me. So what? Why should I be the only one hurting? Because of Sasuke? Sakura, he isn't worth all of this. Do you care about him so much that you'd say all those things to me just because I won't help you see him? This isn't about Sasuke, idiot, she said in a huff. It's about you. You weren't supposed to stop caring for me. I wasn't supposed to be easily replaced as soon as you returned. Am I really that awful, Naruto? She said, breaking down, no longer struggling to hit him. I thought we had already settled this. No, we hadn't settled anything. You don't get it. What don't I get? You weren't supposed to move on yet, not until after I had Sasuke. You were supposed to be there for me until then because you were mine. If not, I would have just told you Hinata has a crush on you a long time ago. Hinata has a crush on me? Yes, idiot. Everyone knew, she was just too shy and afraid of rejection to approach you. So, you allowed me to invest time and energy into you when there was someone else that would return my affections. I told you you were mine. She needed a boost, and if you couldn't tell what was obvious to others then you didn't need to know. This isn't friendship, Sakura. If you cared about me you would want me to be happy. Why should you be happy? We can't be. You both left us. Do you hear yourself? You don't want me but you don't want anyone else to have me? How could you possibly think that's okay? Also, who is she and who are we? I don't care if it's okay, it's just how it needed to be. You made it so I never had to come out. As long as I had you, she'd be okay. But now she's not and neither am I. Sakura, what are you talking about? Who are you talking about? I'm talking about Sakura, idiot. I'm obviously not her. Okay, chakra writing. The process of manifesting a seal with your chakra is really just advanced shape manipulation. The reason Uzumaki Fuinjutsu masters excel at this application is because of the composition of their chakra. In general, Uzumaki tend to have chakra with a higher percentage of yang-yin. While it is rarely as unbalanced as Kushina's or Naruto's, it is still present. That means make chakra have a form is easier than it would be for others. The other advantage is one brought by repetition and a somewhat isolated population. By the constant training in Fuinjutsu, the yin aspects of their chakra started to develop an affinity for the theory and creation of seals. Both of these aspects ensure, once trained, Uzumaki have no issue recalling the specifics of seal arrays nor manifesting them with their chakra for quick application. Naruto doesn't know this. Naruto will never know this, and right now, Naruto doesn't give a damn. He's just happy he was able to slap a paralysis seal on Sakura and teleport her to Tsunade because things got freaky scary in his apartment, and Naruto doesn't do freaky scary. Well, see his fear of ghosts as Exhibit 1. Another thing the Uzumaki were known for were their volatile natures. Whereas the Uchiha has the curse of hatred, the Uzumaki have the curse of high reactivity, also known as a slight inability to be conflict avoidant, or underreact. They don't sit on things, they don't stew. If you anger an Uzumaki you'll know it. If you fluster an Uzumaki, however, you get this. Tsunade kansamethinjiran with Sakura kanancha satius not Sakura kanoshichis possessed. And that was on the 5th try. Tsunade, having some experience with her cousin clan and having been around Kushina when she was younger, is aware that a flustered Uzumaki is essentially an incoherent mess of unrestrained panic. Seeing the boy isn't going to calm himself down nearly as fast as she needs him to, Tsunade puts her hands on his shoulders and speaks. Naruto, take some deep breaths, okay? No, just breathe. I can't help until I know what's going on, so just breathe deeply, okay? In truth, deep breathing does nothing for a panicking Uzumaki. However, a calm, soothing presence, and something monotonous to focus on does, and soon enough Naruto collected his wits. He then proceeded to tell Tsunade about Sakura and his fight, and how at the end she claimed not to be Sakura. Tsunade, being made aware of her student's inner voice from the psychological profiles provided by Inoichi, wasn't surprised, but she was concerned. Inner had never taken control, to her knowledge, and had been a diminished presence in the last few years. Tsunade requested Naruto remove the seals so they could get to the bottom of this. So, Inner, what happened? Asked Tsunade. I prefer Karachan, actually. As far as what happened, Loverb over there has been ripping my girl's sense of self to shreds since he returned. At the attempt on her life by the psycho formerly known as Sasuke, and she's been having a tough go of it. I was surprised when I started getting called up, actually. Had my retirement pad all picked out and everything. This is weird as foo. Naruto. Both Kunoichi yell. Sorry. He said sheepishly. Please continue, said Tsunade. As I was saying, Naruto's change was really the primary factor. Sasuke is little more than a fantasy, though she is unwilling to acknowledge that. But when she had no one else from our generation, she always had Naruto and his support. Apparently, not anymore. Isn't that right, stud? Just wrote us off. Wiped your hands because you're done. That isn't the truth, replied Naruto. Yes, it is. Was I supposed to just let her hit me? Insult and berate me? Yes. She needed the support. I needed the outlet for my aggression. You provided both. If you cared, you would have done what was needed to keep her stable until she didn't need you anymore. Instead, you just kept dictating things to her, talking back and acting like she was just another person to you. She may have felt bad about our past treatment, but frankly I could give a shit. You aren't anyone special, and as far as I'm concerned you were ours to use. Big words for a weak, little girl. The weakest member of our team, trained by one of the strongest kunoichi ever, and still can't stand on your own. You just make Sakura weak. I'm not the problem, you are. You're wrong. You're the reason she cries herself to sleep. She doesn't feel like she can do anything right when it concerns you, and given the only other person to show interest in her was Lee, she was reeling. Your opinion of her mattered and you didn't care, like she was below your notice. So what? She can't have this both ways, either of you can. Sure we can, you're just a monster anyway. That's enough. Naruto, remember that this alternate personality doesn't necessarily speak Sakura's true feelings. She's just the outcome of some type of trauma. When Sakura is fully healed, then you two can sort this all out, but take what this thing has said with a grain of salt. Oh. Naruto needs Mama Tsunade to make it all better. Is she an adequate replacement for the whore that left Kara couldn't finish as she was smacked through the wall of Tsunade's office? Like I said, grain of salt? Naruto tried to take Tsunade's advice and just brush off Kara's words, but he was finding it difficult. Even his intense workout wasn't aiding in shaking off her words. A part of him just didn't know if the real Sakura ever truly saw him as a friend or just something to vent at or make her feel better. He knew their dynamic wasn't healthy. His time with the Toads had instilled what a functioning relationship should look like, and with that thought, while he wanted to consider them as such, he couldn't truthfully call those of his generation real friends. He'd like to fix that and come to a resolution with Sakura when she is integrated. Like one of those books Shizen sent him said. While distracted, his senses were still sharp, so he didn't fail to notice the arrival of Team 8, and with it another issue, Hinata's feelings for him. He didn't think it right to simply not address them, but only hoped he didn't hurt her with what he had to say. Hey guys, he greeted the team. Hey Naruto. You look distracted, man, said Kiba. Kiba is right, Naruto-san. You also give off the signs of recent emotional distress, replied Shino. Yeah, Sakura-chan and I got into another argument, and it got ugly. I was trying to blow off some steam, but it hadn't seemed to be working. Well, we were just finishing up for the day. Want to grab a bite with us? Actually, I was hoping to talk to Hinata alone, if you don't mind, Hinata. No, I don't mind, Naruto-kun, replied Hinata. Before I leave, Naruto-san, please tell Kakashi-san his last attempt was adequate, Shino said as Kiba and he waved and departed, leaving the two alone. Naruto and Hinata sat under a nearby tree, enjoying the shade, Naruto summoning the nerve to speak to the heiress. Hinata, I owe you an apology. Naruto started. What for, Naruto-kun? During our argument, Sakura-chan blurted out that you had a crush on me. I'm sorry I never noticed and didn't acknowledge you like you wanted. Oh, thank you, she said meekly. I feel like a jerk, especially since Niji was right. I wouldn't have beaten him in the finals if not for you and from someone who knows what it feels like to not be seen. I'm truly sorry I may have made you feel that way. It's fine. I could never confess, so it wasn't fair to expect you just to know. You're too kind. Now that I know, I don't think I can return your feelings right now. Oh, she said, looking heartbroken and preparing to flee, which made Naruto feel like a jerk. Before she ran off, Naruto stopped her. Hinata, please wait. My not being able to return your feelings isn't because of you or because I like someone else. There was a reason my summons took over my training. Something. Naruto felt choked up momentarily, still finding it difficult to talk about his near-suicide attempt even vaguely. Something happened between Jiraiya and I couldn't be trained by him anymore. It simply wasn't an option. After what happened, I wasn't the same. I felt lost and hopeless. The Toads had to build me back up, and even when I was doing well I'd still sometimes backslide. I don't trust myself like I used to, not so much as a shinobi in other aspects of my life. I still feel like I need to resolve something so I can gain that trust back, and I just don't think I can be in a relationship and do that. Hinata was shocked to see the pain Naruto expressed on his face from just thinking about whatever happened during his time away. She felt guilty that she was happy he wasn't outright rejecting her but just wasn't looking to be in a relationship in general, but mostly she just wanted to help him any way she could. With that being said, I would like to get to know you better so we can become true friends. Would that be alright? Naruto said, looking into the eyes of the Hyuga. She was saddened by the look in his eyes. The usual hopefulness wasn't the same. It was timid and lacked confidence. She agreed immediately and vowed to help he through whatever this transition was. It may not have been the response she dreamed of, but it was real and sincere, and she wouldn't change it for the world. 5 days later, Nagato stood over the dead body of his last friend, over the last person he loved in the world. He wanted to lie to himself, do anything at all to not see her like this. Conan, his angel, took a Rasengan that was meant for him. Jiraiya tried to kill him after his team of ANBU and he fought his paths. The entire squad of ANBU died but offered enough support for Jiraiya to defeat them permanently and confront Nagato. The old fool was so dismayed that the students he had trained and thought dead were behind the attempts to capture his apprentice. Angered by another failure, he resolved to clean up the mess he made, not caring how the two students wound up on this path. Before he could reach Nagato, Conan stepped in and took the blow. It killed her instantly. Jiraiya would have tried again, but Kisame and Itachi arrived, making Jiraiya reverse summon himself away from aim. Nagato raged at the loss of his friend. So distraught he didn't have a firm hold of his powers, accidentally activating the human path when Zetsu touched him. It was then he received another shock. The so-called god was merely a pawn. A puppet of a puppet of a puppet, and in his delusion he had led his friend, his love, to ruin. Even a revitalized body could do nothing to mend the pain he felt. The development of what Zetsu knew to be the Rinne Sharingan in his left eye meant nothing. Everything had lost its value. Nagato leaned down to Conan on her altar and spoke. I'm so sorry, Conan. I was never as strong as Yahiko or you. I so quickly lost myself to my own pain and anguish. I spat on what Yahiko stood for, and I dishonored your faith in me. A part of me believes you shouldn't be like this, so still and devoid of life. You are steadfast and strong, a pillar that I selfishly leaned on because I couldn't stand on my own. I could bring you back, I could, but that would just be another selfish act. We wanted peace, Conan, peace in these lands. Peace is a lie. You cannot be a shinobi and have peace. Jiraiya's words were those of a fool, and we foolishly tried to follow them. No longer, Conan. I won't live a lie any longer. What I will do is show Jiraiya the truth of his world. I'll show the entire elemental nations the truth, but I have something special for Jiraiya. His apprentice, his hope to spread his lie of peace? I'll make him suffer. I'll make Jiraiya's avatar suffer, and Jiraiya will do nothing but watch. Watch as his final student is broken due to the realities of this life. Once the world breaks the student, it will break the master, and I'll have my revenge. My revenge for him leading us astray with his fool's quest, and mostly him taking you away from me. So, be happy with Yahiko. See if you can get to producing some nieces and nephews for me to spoil. I don't know how long it'll be before I see you both, but know I look forward to it. I love you, my friend, so enjoy your rest and please don't look down on me for what I must do. Goodbye, Nagato said and gave one of his nin the order to burn her body before he approached a room with Kisame, Itachi and Kakuzu. We're no longer going to be collecting the Bija, but I still want you to locate the Jinchuriki we haven't confronted. Just locate them and nothing else. I'll be away from the village completing my own tasks, but I expect you back here in 2 months. What's our new mission, Leader-sama? Asked Itachi. Nagato, Itachi. Call me Nagato, and what we'll be doing is ripping the veils of lies the shinobi villages are cloaked in. And where will you be, Nagato-sama? Asked Kisame. I'm going to find Orochimaru. He will be joining us once again. He has a specific role to play, but once that is finished I'll kill him. I will not let him get your brother, Itachi. You have my word. Thank you, Nagato-sama. No problem. 2 months, gentlemen. I'll see you then. Dismissed. You know you've just been sitting here for like 10 minutes, not having said a word. She replied in a huff. Insecurity fills the space silence creates. I was just giving you time to get to know yourself, Databeo. Talking to you is like staring at the sun. You know it'll hurt, but you just feel compelled to do so anyway. That's not very nice, Temari-chan. Especially when I'm paying, Naruto said before falling silent again, enjoying his surroundings at a tea house that opened during his extended absence. So Temari said, dragging the word out a bit, I've heard you've been spending time with a certain heiress. For a shinobi village there sure are a lot of gossips about. Clucking old hens and busybodies, the lot of you. That's not a no. Temari pointed out. So it was not. Naruto said and returned to admiring the decor. Well? Asked Temari. Well, what? You never asked me a question. Are you and Hinata dating or not? We aren't dating. I just want to get to know her better so we can be friends. Naruto, you have to know about her feelings for you by now. I do, I was just recently informed. But I can't date her or anyone right now. I told Hinata as much, and asked if we could build a friendship. Why can't you date anyone? The Akatsuki? No, I wouldn't put my life on hold for them. The sad fact is I might not survive whatever it is they are planning, withholding on creating relationships would be foolhardy. Naruto responded. So why? Gunk. Gunk? Emotional and spiritual gunk. I'm all gunked up, and until I get ungunked I just can't see myself getting involved with anyone like that. Besides, I need to actually form some friendships. You have friends? No, I have people I view as friends because I was desperate for friendship, but truthfully, I know very little about them and they know even less about me. I want to be friends, but that takes time. Makes sense. Gaara went through a similar experience with us. Like he knew we should be important, but he didn't feel it yet. Yep, not felt in the heart but known in the head. Is that why you asked me to come here today? Mostly. I also wanted to know if you'd be free to train sometime. There aren't many wind users in Konoha and Asuma is mostly focused on the cutting aspects. Sure, I'd like that. The two teens chatted away in the tea house until they were interrupted by an ANBU. Uzumaki-san, Hokage-sama has requested you report to the hospital immediately. Hi, Sara-san. Well, Temari, thanks for the company. Naruto said, leaving some money on the table before exiting, concerned by the call to report. No problem. I'll catch you later. Naruto arrived to the hospital via Shunshin and headed toward the information desk. The nurse on duty had been expecting him, and gave him a room number to head toward. Naruto wasted no time finding the room and entering, to see Tsunade and Shizen standing on either side of Jiraiya. Chun and Uzumaki, reporting in as requested, Hokage-sama. Naruto said, surprising Jiraiya and Shizen with his formality but not Tsunade. It was a signal. Anything related to Jiraiya was to be purely professional, the older man having crossed the line with his last stunt. Stand down, Naruto. Jiraiya asked for you to come. He has some information about the Akatsuki and it affects you. Tsunade said and watched as Naruto gave a nod in reply. Hey kid, I'll keep this simple. I and a team of ANBU infiltrated AIM. We were immediately spotted and eventually had to fight with the leader of the Akatsuki. He goes by Pain, but he was actually my former student Nagato. He has a dojutsu called the Rinnegan and was using 6 bodies like dolls, each with a specific ability. It was a hard fight. The ANBU fell, but I managed to defeat the bodies and find the real Nagato. He was being guarded by another student of mine named Konan. We spoke, more like argued, and in my anger and disappointment I tried to kill Nagato, but Konan took the hit. Before I could try again, and while feeling the onset of chakra exhaustion, Kisame and Itachi entered the room, so Pa reverse summoned me. I dealt them a blow, Naruto. There is no denying that, but it likely wasn't enough. I don't know when, but Nagato will likely come for you personally. As you are now, you can't beat him. I could barely beat him, and I doubt he's coming alone. Listen, I've fucked up plenty, but now is the time to get over being mad at me so I can train you to fight him. No, Naruto, you need to be mature about this. You're not equipped to deal with him. I don't doubt that, but last I checked, Konoha ninja don't fight alone. You know his abilities, and even should he change, your knowledge wouldn't be completely useless. I'm sure Kakashi Taishu and Yamato-senpai can help me come up with some strategies. I'm assuming each of the 20 platoons would be doing so. I'll continue training myself, thank you. No, that's unacceptable. Kid, your life is at risk. You need to be better than you are now. Jiraiya barked, causing Naruto to narrow his eyes. You don't even know about my skills, so how can you say that? Whatever, I'm not your apprentice anymore, and you can't take the Toad contract from me because Fukasaku-sensei won't allow it. If I need more direct training, I'll go to him. Besides, what are you going to teach me during an indefinite time period that could possibly make me surpass you by your own estimation? Jiraiya paused for a moment, hesitating to state his answer. He took a deep breath and then spoke. I want to help you gain a mastery over the fox's chakra. The response from Naruto was immediate. You go fuck yourself, old man. I'm done. Naruto, wait. No, fuck you, Jiraiya. It's always about Kurama with you. You don't even see me. If I couldn't become the perfect Jinchuriki, you had no use for me, so go to hell. I'll train myself. This is not the time for pride, Naruto. Not just your life is at stake. If they get you, we have no way of knowing what they'll do when they extract the fox from you. Pride nothing. You want to help me with something you have no clue about. Your aid would, as it had been in the past, be completely useless. I'm done, don't bother me with your bullshit again, Jiraiya. You don't order me, boy. I was a shinobi before your grandfather's balls dropped. You will show me the respect I'm due. If I say I'm training you, I will train you. We don't have time for our petty differences. Petty differences? I was going to kill myself because of you, you useless fuck. You had your chance to train me, now you stay away from me. I want nothing to do with you. Let's not say anything we can't take back, Shizen offered, but was ignored immediately by Jiraiya. Tsunade, this is your fault. This person standing in front of me isn't fit to be Minato's son, Jiraiya said, only to be punched in the jaw, hard enough to send him off the bed, shocked by Naruto's speed. Will he be healed and 100% soon? Asked Naruto, breathing deeply. 2 days should do it, said Tsunade. 3 days, Jiraiya. You pick the time and the place. No chakra from Kurama, no sage mode for you, and no toads for either of us. 3 days from now, I'll beat your ass into the ground. You've forgotten yourself, brat. 2 years is nowhere near enough time to stand in front of me as my equal. But fine, you'll learn your lesson the hard way, and when I beat you, you will be trained by me and you won't complain. Whatever. I'll get the information from Tsunade later. Naruto said before exiting via his vacuum shunshin. I would ask what you were thinking but I know you weren't. Tsunade said. Can you admonish me after you fixed my jaw? The brat damn near broke it. No, live with the pain. How could you say that about Naruto? Because he's shutting me out, and there's no time for that. My failing to kill Nagato has likely made him more dangerous, not less. What if, instead of 2 members they send all of the remaining ones after him? No one team could face that. We likely couldn't have. And he's right, I don't know his skills. I'm betting you don't know the full extent of them either. This way I can push him, and we can put our heads together to help him. Wait, so you don't want to train him to use Kurama's chakra? Asked Shizen. No, and I'm disappointed Tsunade didn't catch on. Minato would likely be as proud of that boy as I am, but he's hard-headed, and I've crossed him a time too many. The best way to help him now would be to give him experience fighting someone of Nagato's caliber, and providing feedback. Tsunade's eyes widen in recognition. You taking a page from Sensei is surprising. Jiraiya laughed seeing she remembered. But effective. He may have matured but there's too much Kushina in him to passively accept a direct challenge or insult. Hits like her too. I'm lost, what are you two talking about? Asked Shizen. When I returned from my training with the Toads, Sensei and I weren't in the best place. I resented him for favoring Orochimaru and putting me on the back burner and started to become distant. He needed to know my skills as we were on the brink of war. My being prideful and foolish would brush him off, being vague until he insulted me to the point I challenged him to a fight. I threw everything I had at him and then proceeded to get my ass handed to me. Wouldn't it have been better to just request the spar? Now, he's livid and as the person who knew Minato best I'm sure he's devastated. You implied he'd be ashamed of Naruto, replied Shizen. He likely would have turned it down, and if he didn't, he would have been looking to do the bare minimum to win. Now, he wants to hurt me and will bring forth his entire arsenal to do so. This is a dangerous game you're playing, Jiraiya, said Tsunade. Potentially, but this is necessary. I hope so, stated Tsunade. It was such a drab setting she found herself. Taupe walls, fern in the corner and 2 chairs separated by a plain coffee table. This place was clearly a waiting room for hell and yet she had to be here. Every day she had to show up here and talk to the pig's father. Fucking Ino, she thought as she counted down the seconds before Inoichi would begin the session. Not much in the way of progress had been made, though it had only been a few days, not even a week. Inoichi asked about her early childhood, trying to find the traumatizing event. There wasn't one. She had been there for as long as Sakura could remember, but this idiot wouldn't accept that. The second session was all about her relationship with the other rookies or anyone outside of Team 7. She wasn't surprised when she showed to know very little about them. The relationships were surface level outside of Ino. The next session was about Kakashi and Tsunade, and she savored the opportunity to rant and rave about the copy ninja and his complete lack of fucks. Even now, it feels like he tolerates them if Sakura doesn't hope to and do what he says immediately. She had a much better opinion of Tsunade, recent bitch slapping excluded. The last session was about Sasuke. It too went nowhere. Even Kara couldn't fully explain why Sakura continued to feel for him. The initial crush? Sure, he was skilled in the academy but seemed lonely, so it was enticing, but he disregarded her so often that a continued infatuation just didn't make sense. He needed to be saved but essentially hated everyone that wasn't Naruto, whom he still tried to kill. Today, however, was the topic she knows Inoichi has been itching to get to. Finally, he asked about Naruto. So why do you dislike Naruto, Kara? He's an idiot that thinks he's more than he is, for one. 2. He hurt Sakura. From my understanding, he's matured immensely while away from the village and really isn't an idiot anymore. Yes, he is. He hides it better, but he's just as dumb as he always was. You seem to be convinced. Do you need Naruto to be dumb? To be an idiot? Why would I care if he is or isn't? I don't know. Why do you? I don't. Okay. How did he hurt Sakura? He doesn't treat her like she matters anymore. He her scolded by Tsunade. He makes her look bad in front of Kakashi. He is making everything her fault. What do you mean by everything? Everything. Every time they have an argument he makes it seem like it's entirely her fault. He won't listen anymore and is always talking back and putting her down. How has he put her down? By making her feel unwanted and unneeded. He doesn't call Kakashi sensei, and when she pointed that out he told her to mind her business, as if she were an annoying pest. Maybe he just wanted to establish a boundary. He never did that before, so why should he now? Why change everything now? Because he's changing. You can't keep Naruto in a little box and never allow him to grow. Besides, shouldn't you want him to change? You don't seem to like him. I like him just fine. Then why call him an idiot but refuse to allow him to not be one? Why do you need Naruto to have such an obvious flaw? He aspires to be Hokage. An idiot can't be Hokage. Why does it matter why I want him to stay an idiot? He is one, he should stay one. If he didn't care about me butting into his life before, he shouldn't care now. Why? Because that's how it was supposed to be. Why? Why does Naruto have to be static? Sakura changed. All of your generation has. It is very likely Naruto has undergone the largest change amongst you. Why don't you support that? Because he never left. Sometimes I'd make Sakura act out, she'd get loud or violent, and it pushed almost everyone away but never Naruto. He never went away and was even kind. But now he'll go away, and why? Because I can be a little aggressive sometimes? So, Naruto didn't just support Sakura, he supported you as well? He validated you, or at least made you feel like you wouldn't cause Sakura to be alone? Yeah, I guess. It's just, she always suppressed me. Be it with the bullies or Sasuke's constant rejection or derision, she wouldn't express unless I made her, so it always came out wrong. But Naruto, he'd just accept it, and still give us a kind word. But wouldn't it be better if you could express how you truly felt with the correct parties instead of using Naruto as an emotional punching bag? At least that way, you can become whole again and won't lose Naruto, I guess. The 3 days passed in a blur and, as instructed, Naruto arrived at the Hokage's private training area. He was, again, wearing his blue uniform with matching face mask and bandana along with his Chunin vest. He had his ninjato and kukuri knives strapped to his back as well as a black holster on his thigh. He was surprised that so many people were in attendance, and mildly displeased by it. Standing beside Tsunade and Shizen were 3 Anbu, Kakashi, Yamato and Fukasaku-sensei. I thought this was going to be a private affair, Naruto said. It is. What is witnessed here will go no further than those in attendance, but their being here is necessary, said Tsunade. In case your pet fox goes rabbit? Asked Naruto, to the surprise of several. No, Naruto answered Tsunade. Truthfully, the Anbu and Yamato were there, partially, to break things up if Naruto and Jiraiya went too far, but the concern wasn't over his bijou. However, Naruto likely wouldn't see the difference at this point. When will Jiraiya drop his sexual predator jutsu so we can get this over with? Respect for your betters is the first lesson I'll teach you after I win, Jiraiya said, dropping his hiding with camouflage jutsu. Naruto noticed Jiraiya wasn't wearing his trademark headgear, and realized he was paying him the exact insult Sasuke had, Jiraiya's attempt at psychological warfare. Naruto brushed the meaningless gesture off, already believing Jiraiya had no respect for him. Subtly reasserting it made no difference. The two men walked into a clearing, 30 feet separating them with Fukasaku standing in between. Naruto-chan, Jiraiya-chan, you've already agreed to the stipulations of this fight, but keep in mind there will be no maiming and no attempts to kill. Also, Naruto, at my behest you have additional restrictions that you will adhere to. Do you understand? Hi, both men responded, but Jiraiya was curious about the other stipulations Pa put on Naruto, but there was no time to worry about it as Pa had called a start to the fight.